Dr. Gold in the lab, Twitch stream glowing, formulas flashing, minds wide, knowledge flowing, equations on the board, numbers never sleep, teaching math and physics while them haters count sheep. Actual education, tune in and get schooled, flipping textbooks, breaking all the rules, from Newton to Einstein, concepts elevate. Keep the stream, it's the key to our fate. Dr. Gold dropping gems, knowledge raining down, actual education making scholars all around. Perpendicular minds, angles sharp as ice, maths and physics, yeah, the future's real nice. Got the Pythagorean triangles about to flex, quantum theories on deck, breaking all the specs, relativity theories, worlds getting small, grasp the universal laws, standing tall. From the atom to the cosmos, we rolling deep, grazing up the stars, no time to sleep. Black holes and supernovas, concepts we unfold, brain power heavy, yeah, that's Dr. Gold. Dr. Gold dropping gems, knowledge raining down, actual education making scholars all around. Perpendicular minds, angles sharp as ice, maths and physics, yeah, the future's real nice.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Golden Hour AMA podcast. We got a very special guest today for the last stream of the year, actually. This is going to be the last one for 2024. His name is Perry Kalmus. He's a college admissions guru.
That's dope.
And he's here to answer all your questions about I guess like getting into college, what the whole application process is. It's kind of a mystery for a lot of people, and not one that is not very easily accessible unless you usually have, access to funds. But Perry's here, and he's donating his time for us to talk about all the cool ways to get into good colleges, and also a little about his own company that he runs to make all this stuff more accessible. So, very glad to have you here, Perry. It's super awesome.
Great to be here.
Yeah, awesome. What I like to do to kind of like start things off, if you want to give like a 1 minute, 2 minute bio about like who you are, what you do, and then we'll hop into some questions from the students.
Yeah, so my name is Perry. I have an interesting background. I grew up mostly a public school kid, was a big soccer player, ended up transferring into a very ritzy private school, boarding school in New Jersey, called the Lawrenceville School. I then went to Williams College and played soccer there, and then moved out to Los Angeles and expanded. My mom had a college admissions counseling company that she started back in 1994. I then expanded it when I graduated from Williams to New York, Los Angeles, and then globally. We became the IT consultant for a lot of celebrities and Fortune 500 CEOs. We were charging an insane amount.
Insane.
To get your kid into college.
Yep.
And back in 2016, we were like, man, it's not fulfilling, right? We
Right.
were helping kids that already have so much. But our level of expertise is so coveted, right? It's why people are willing to pay so much to access us. And we thought to ourselves, well, how can we democratize access to us and create a platform that levels the playing field and access to guidance? I should mention we were also, Barbara and I were two of the stars of the Netflix documentary.
Oh, yeah. No, I told the kids you were on Netflix, and they're like, wait, what? This guy was on Netflix? I was like, yeah, dude, he was.
That was really crazy. Actually, just some fun behind the scenes on
that.
We were consulting on it and just giving stories, and the director was like, hey, do you want to maybe go on camera? And
Ooh.
We were like, nah, not really. And he's like, no, come on. Like, the way it works is I'll interview you for like 3 hours. You'll be in it for like 3 seconds. And we're like,
oh, wow,
right.
okay.
All right, fine. And then like 2 weeks before the documentary came out on Netflix, and it was middle of COVID, so like everyone's home with nothing to do.
Yeah, and no one. Yeah, we're just all watching TV.
Yeah, and the director called me, and he was like, "You might want to hire like a PR person." I was like, "Why is that?" He's like, "Well, you know how I told you 3 seconds? Like,
Yeah.
you're in it a lot." And I was like,
Oh wow.
"Like, really?" And he's like, and I mean, to this day, people thought we made the documentary because we were in it.
Oh
so
wow.
much.
I need to go rewatch it. Honestly, it's been so many years since I've seen it. But yeah, I need to rewatch that.
By the way, I recommend. I think it's actually like I'm usually not a fan of the
Docu-series
acting.
type thing.
No, I love those things, but when they do like the reenactments.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
yeah, because they have like an actor for whatever the singer guy is, right?
Exactly. But they freaking crushed it. Like,
Yeah.
can I curse on this?
Yeah, you can say whatever the fuck you want. It's fine.
Okay, great. They fucking crushed it. Like what was so cool about it is that the actors are acting out the actual wiretaps of the FBI.
Oh yeah. The stuff they had.
between the people. So when you hear like the one guy, one of my favorites is a freaking lawyer
Yeah.
who took the oath, right?
Yeah.
For honesty and integrity, is on the phone talking to the singer guy, and he actually word for word says, "Listen, I don't really give a shit about the ethics. I just want to make sure my daughter doesn't get hurt." And I was like,
Yes, dude, I remember that part, dude. He's like, "Fuck the ethics. I just want to make sure my daughter." Yeah. Oh my god.
Anyway, so the Netflix thing was really crazy. But yeah, we're excited. You know, our company is we're backed by Google.
Yeah, that's dope.
And we're backed by USC here in LA for any LA peeps out there.
There's a lot of people, a lot of Los Angeles people. You were telling me you were pretty busy with all the UCLA, the UC deadline, right? It was like first week of December or something.
Yeah, exactly. December 2nd. So that was crazy. Now we're dealing with all the regular decision deadlines.
Exactly. Which is like January 15th, I think. You know, because I have some kids also applying for college and they want me to help edit their essays and stuff. And I'm like, oh man, it's coming up.
That's a lot. I mean, you hit on it the most, and I'm sure we'll jump into it, but like,
Sure.
you know, it is so freaking complex in America to figure out the path to college.
Oh yeah.
And you know, most of the kids on this stream, if they're domestic, are not going to know this, but like everywhere else in the world, it's really easy. Like,
Yeah.
you have a grade, you have a test score, and maybe in England you have an essay, but that's really it.
Yeah.
But like here, you've got extracurriculars, community service,
Yeah.
summer experience, recommendations, tests, awards and honors. Like,
Yeah.
it's just this like dizzying thing that you have.
And then
to
there's like all
manage.
these PIQ essays. This is the thing I hate the most. Is I'm like,
Oh.
cool, personal statement I can do, but then some are like, but we also want a statement of purpose, and I'm like, what the fuck is the difference in that? And then they have these individual of like, you know, how did racism affect your family? And I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah,
I can't. dude.
100%. And on top of it, which drives me insane, is like all of these like overly like, you know, it's like, tell us about an obstacle you overcame and blah blah. Like, dude, what if I was just a really great kid?
I came from a happy family. My mom and dad didn't beat each other. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just normal. What do you want?
It's like, what do you like? Like, that kid's screwed in college admissions. Like, why?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, so we've gone too far to the other side, I think, here. But
I agree.
but we exist to try and help kids to navigate it and to navigate it early, because the earlier you start, you know, the less stress you have to have. So that's the purpose of AKALA. And as we say, college, we get you in. I don't know if you guys can read it, but we added ethically.
Ethically. No, I like this. The ethically. Yeah. So when I say you were on that Netflix show, some people ask me, they're like, wait a minute, but didn't those people like get into trouble like for doing that? I'm like, no, they're on the ethical side. So wait, what? Explain to me a little bit. What was the ethical side for you for the Netflix thing? I need to rewatch it to see what you read.
Yeah, like they came to us to really ask, like, how is it supposed to normally be done, right? Like when you hire me for a fortune to get your kid into college, like, what's like the way to do it without, you know, being
bribing somebody, like pretending to be on the rowing team.
Yeah, exactly. Putting your head on a rower's body and then claiming you're on the road.
Dude, the photoshopping I saw with that, right? They had the girl in front of the pool and whatnot, and they're like, look like you're rowing. I'm like, God damn it.
Insane.
It's nuts.
Insane. So we were on there to talk about, you know, how it's supposed to be done.
I see. You were saying, well, this is how college admissions is supposed to work. Yeah.
Exactly.
Which it's changing all the time too. You know, it's
Every year.
very confusing, right? Yeah. Someone in the chat says nowadays you need like a 1600 SAT and a 4.0 GPA to qualify just to send an admission form. You know what? Oh.
By the way, kudos to that person. You know, the answer is yes and no, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that we hate as a company are these rankings.
Yeah.
Okay. So what that person
You hate
prefers-
U.S. World and Report, right? The U.S. World Report, like college
Let
rankings.
me make this very bold statement, and I am unashamed. You can quote me anywhere in the world. you want.
Okay.
If you gave me a button, now obviously I'd want all humans out of the building, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't need to hurt anybody. But if you gave me a button that would literally explode U.S. News and World Report, all of their company, I would push so fast, and I would happily be the proud person who
Dude,
pushed it.
yeah. Dude, I can't tell you how many times kids like reference this, and I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. I hate this thing.
And by the way, I will tell all of you guys on the stream here, like,
Yeah.
my college has a #1 ranking in front of it, right?
For something.
I
It's like
feel-
#1 for something.
No, it's actually like they rank the two big categories are research universities and liberal arts, right? So
Yes.
Princeton's #1 for research. Williams is #1 for liberal
Oh,
arts.
you are right. Oh, no. Oh, you're fucking right. Oh, man. Yeah, right here. It's #1. #1 liberal arts colleges. Wow.
Guys,
Oh, you went
I
to
am-
the #1 school.
I am overqualified to tell you that those rankings are bullshit.
They're
Right?
bullshit.
Like, I'm going to give you the real from the inside. I love
Nice.
Williams. It was great, but I can tell you
Yeah.
this. When it's -5 degrees outside,
Mm-mm.
you're supposed to be in college, right? And then you go down to visit your sister. Like I went to visit my sister at the University of Miami, and
Oh,
people are
God.
laying out at the pool in the middle
Oh,
of
it's
campus.
so different. Yeah.
You start realizing maybe you didn't do shit right. So,
Yeah. Maybe it's not #1.
but my sister was like very successful. I mean, one of the things I love to do, we could do it so you can see people's answers if I post a question.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so guys, I'm gonna play a game with you guys.
We're going to play a game. So listen
We're
up,
gonna
chat.
play a game, and you're not allowed to Google it. So just throw out an answer, okay? I always say this: I'm gonna name a school, and I'm gonna guarantee one of two things. One, you've never heard of it.
Uh-huh.
Two, you're a big college football fan, so you definitely have heard of it, but you still don't know where it is. So I'm gonna throw out the school. Ready?
Okay. All right. Chat, are you guys ready?
Auburn University.
Ooh, Auburn. Okay. Let's see. Chat. Without Googling it, does
No
anyone know
Googling.
where? You can't Google. Where is Auburn University? Yeah.
Did you get any answers?
I don't even think I know that. Or one sec. Google's like trying to actually answer me. No. Stop Google.
It's like, shut up,
Equity
Google.
says Boston. Someone said Boston.
Boston.
Auburn is in Boston. I'm like, it's a little far north. I know it's in the south.
It's in the south. So
Yeah.
I will tell you.
Someone said Texas too.
Okay.
Getting closer.
We're getting closer. So guys, I will tell you, under 20% of people have even heard of this school,
Sure.
especially if they're north of the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah, right.
And then under 5% know that it's in Alabama, right?
See, I didn't even know I knew it was somewhere next to Texas. I was gonna say like Mississippi or something. I'm just like, I think it's one of those, right?
So,
It's in Alabama, really?
Alabama. So,
Oh, wow.
So I say to people all the time, I say, listen, here's a school. You basically don't know it, right?
Right.
So I say, if you look up its ranking, I think it finally creeped into the top 100, but it's historically been like, I don't know, 120, 130, whatever. A lot of people would poo-poo it and be like, I'm not gonna go to that school, right?
Yeah, well, it's not a liberal arts college, so let me see. What is it? It's
yeah.
105 in
105,
national
okay, so
universities.
It's above 100.
But it's
so-
super well known. Like in what is it? Sorry, yeah, in college football, Auburn's a powerhouse, right? It's like one of the best schools for football.
Absolutely. And but I tell people all the time, I say, here's a school. You basically don't know it. If you looked up its ranking, you definitely wouldn't go there, you know.
Uh-huh.
For
You'd be
the
like,
way-
or your parents wouldn't want you to go there because
Yeah,
your
your
parents are
parents
living
wouldn't want you to
vicariously
go.
through you, and your parents' reputation depends on where they send the check for you to go to college.
By the way, the line that got me a lot of notoriety from the Netflix documentary was I said, you know, the parents never got to go to Harvard. So now the kid is the vehicle through which they can go to
Exactly. I agree with you 100% on this. I see it so much. Like the kid doesn't fucking want to go to Harvard, but the parents are like, they want to, elevate their social status to their friends, right? To be like, well, my kid went to Harvard. It's like, well, your kid's depressed now.
Exactly. So, but I tell people, I say, here's a school you probably would never, your parents would never want you to go there. Blah, blah, blah. I say, but I'm also pretty sure your parents wouldn't mind if their kid went on to become the CEO of the biggest company on planet Earth.
Wow. Yeah.
Right?
Which is at Apple, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So Tim Cook
went to Auburn. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he didn't go to Harvard or Princeton
Holy
or
shit.
Stanford or any of these schools. He went to Auburn.
Wow.
So that's that. Then I always tell people, because I get a lot of pushback. People are like, "Oh, but come on, man, that's an anomaly. Tim Cook's an anomaly."
Yeah, sure.
I say, okay, no problem. Then we will engage an age-old adage.
Okay.
Right?
What is that? Yeah.
Which is once is an anomaly, twice is a coincidence, and 3 times. Any guesses?
3 times. What? Shame on me or something? Or you can't fool me twice. I'm trying to go with the George Bush quote, right? It's like fool me once.
3 times is a pattern. Okay.
Oh, 3 times is a pattern. Okay, cool. Yes.
So number 1 is Apple. Number 2 is NVIDIA. Okay?
Yeah.
NVIDIA, Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, went to Oregon State University.
No way.
Okay. And to make it a pattern, the third biggest company on planet Earth is Microsoft.
Right.
And Satya Nadella, who's the CEO of Microsoft, went to a mid-tier college in India.
Yeah, not even the big. There's a big one that like Pachai and whatever, like all of those people went to. I know what you were talking about, right?
Exactly. He went to a mid-tier college in India, and then came here and got his MBA, not from Wisconsin, Madison, the Badgers, the famous jump around.
Right.
But from Wisconsin, Milwaukee, the satellite school.
Oh, so it's not even the flagship one. It's like he went to like UC, like I don't know, Santa Barbara or something.
Milwaukee, you see that?
Wow. And then he got his MBA at University of Chicago, which is I always hear the funny stories about University of Chicago. It's like the kids that didn't get into Princeton, like they go to University of Chicago, so they're all like depressed.
Well, do you know Chicago's famous phrase?
No, what is it?
Literally, like their tagline is "Where fun goes to die." But to their credit, they lean into it. They have T-shirts.
They lean into it.
Like
they're like we know we were the second pick, your second choice. You didn't get into Harvard. I'm so sorry. It's that and Cornell.
By the way,
right?
I will tell you, Chicago hands down has my favorite essays of any school in America.
Okay.
Their kids get to submit it every year, and it's like crazy, wacky questions like,
oh, really?
What makes odd numbers so odd? Right?
This is their college admission essays? This is what they are?
College admissions essays.
No fucking way.
It's so cool. Like, you remember those books, Where's Waldo?
Yes.
They actually had a question one year that said, where actually is Waldo? And then you can
dude, I'm seeing them right here. Here they were.
Look at them.
We're all familiar with green-eyed envy or feeling blue, but what about being caught purple-handed or tickled orange? Give an old color-infused expression a new hue and tell us what it represents.
I'm telling you, I love these questions.
This is dope. I didn't know this. What? This is so cool. So cool.
I think every college in America should just be like, look, you can answer this question or just answer any of the Chicago questions.
Oh, fuck yeah. I love this dude. Daddy-o, far out, gnarly. Sadly, most of them aren't so fly anymore. As if. Name an outdated slang from any decade or language that you'd bring back and explain why you totally dig it. I can't even pronounce this guy's last name. Sakdeep no Barhardna Sup or something. Whatever. Yeah. Dude, this is a cool question, though. Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, good for that guy. So,
yeah, good for him. Yeah, these are cool. Yeah, people in the chat are like, wow, this is dope. I'm like, yeah, I didn't know about this. That's cool, Perry.
By the way, and what's really cool is that Chicago also says you don't even have to answer this year's questions if you want. You could go find archived questions from years past and answer that. We don't care. Just answer something.
Dude, this is okay. I have a lot more respect now. My girlfriend in college was at University of Chicago for grad school. And I used to go up and visit a bunch. It's a beautiful campus, but I respect it so much more now that I know they do this with the essays. That's so cool.
Yeah. Although Although I will tell you an interesting move, not to get too into the nuances of college admissions, but I think people will appreciate this, and it's also to show you guys that these rankings are complete fucking
bogus bullshit. Yeah.
So, University of Chicago. So what happened was, when the pandemic hit, everybody went test optional. Which meant
the SAT got kind of taken out, right? And now they brought it back. I'd love to hear your opinion on this. I'm so confused with what happened, but go on.
Yeah, believe it or not, I'm actually, even though I hate that test, I'm happy they brought it back.
Sure.
I'll tell you why in a second. But
okay.
But anyway, so everyone went test optional, and I started laughing thinking of University of Chicago because I said to myself, "Oh wow, everyone's about to experience what University of Chicago smartly knew just a few years before." So back in, I think it was roughly 2017, 2018, something like that, Chicago went test optional on its own.
Okay, just independently. Right? They're just like, nah, fuck you, College Board.
Exactly. And people started clapping.
Yeah, they were just like, yes.
And I was waving a flag, going, hold on.
You're like, hold on.
People were saying like, "Oh, what an incredible school! Look what they're doing for equity."
They're so progressive.
They're so progressive. And I was like, "No, they're not." Chicago realized something really interesting, right? They said to themselves, "Wait a second. If we go test optional, something amazing, a few amazing things are going to happen. Number one, only the people with the highest test scores are going to report their test scores."
Sure.
So our average test scores are going to go up.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay.
And when your average test score goes up, you know what else goes up?
Your ranking.
Your ranking.
Bing, bing, bing.
Right?
Wow.
Hold on, we're not done yet.
This is a growth hack.
This is a growth hack. They also realized, they were like, and when we go test optional, you know what else is going to happen?
People are going to start submitting more extracurriculars. They're going to start making more shit up.
No, just yes, but more people are going to apply because and this is what everyone. This is why we're going back to the test right now.
Yeah.
What Chicago knew, and anyone in education has known this forever, is that high schools in America are engaging in insane grade inflation. Like
correct, 100%.
Insane.
Yeah, it's nuts.
So you have kids with 4.8 out of 5 GPAs or 3.95 out of 4 GPAs that can't break 1100 on the SAT.
Right. Yeah. But in order for them to get state funding, they need like their GPA to like look nice or whatever for the high school.
Well, there's that, and again, incentives are misaligned. Like, why would you send your kid to that high school if that high school doesn't get people into great colleges?
Whatever colleges, yeah.
Great colleges, you got to have great grades, right?
So you boost the grades. It's a vicious self-fulfilling cycle.
Exactly, and so Chicago realized, they were like, wait a second. When we go test optional, all those 4.9 GPAs that couldn't break 1100 are now going to apply to Chicago. And
so now your average GPA looks fucking high as well.
Yes. Well, average GPA and your admissions rate goes down because
your acceptance rate, plummets. Wow.
You're not adding more seats at your school.
Yeah, no.
So just to give you an example, just because I always use this one Yale example for a different thing, but to show people how competitive it is out there. But Yale in 2019 had 35,000 applicants. I think last year they had like something crazy, like 55 or 60,000 applicants.
Oh, so they doubled. Right? Jesus.
Because a lot of 4.9 GPAs didn't have to report a test score.
Didn't have to report an 1100 SAT. Yeah.
Exactly.
And then now they're like, I'm not discounting myself with my SAT score because I can use all this other shit to just weasel my way in.
Yep.
Wow.
And so guess who started to climb the rankings? University of Chicago. And then the pandemic hit, and then everybody started to realize we're engaging in insane grade inflation right now. I will give you one just quick grade inflation story, actually having to do with Jensen Wang's Oregon State. So I had a student who went to a very competitive school here in LA. They don't grade inflate. So he had
Is this Harvard Westlake? Does Harvard
no,
Westlake grade inflate?
Campbell Hall. Campbell Hall.
Oh, okay.
So he had a 2.8 GPA, right? Which is low for a lot of schools.
Oh yeah. That's below a B.
But because the rigor is so strong there, he had like a 1360 or 80 on his SAT.
Oh wow, yeah. That's decent.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's a very bright kid. But so what ends up happening is we apply to Oregon State as a backup. And then in comes a rejection letter.
Wow.
So now I'm freaked out as the counselor because I'm like, wait a second, the backup's rejecting him? Like,
yeah. No. Our reach isn't going to hit if the backup is now also failing.
Right. And so, so the backup rejects him, and I'm like, hold on a second. So I Google Oregon State, and so this was a few years ago. I don't know where they are today. But basically, I look it up, and I'm like, wait a second. Now I'm even more confused. The average SAT at Oregon State was like an 1130.
Oh wow, yeah. So he's above the average for sure. Yeah, wow.
He's by the way, above the average. He's like 250 points above 15,000 students at Oregon State.
Yeah.
Okay, who all took the same fucking test.
Yep.
Right, 250 points. Okay?
Yeah, that's a couple standard deviations. He's way the fuck up.
Yeah,
there.
that's a lot of standard deviations.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Like, if you want to teach kids about standard deviations, you could use that one to be like,
yeah,
hey,
250 points above. What percentile am I above everybody else here? Jesus.
Right. And so then I see something I can't fucking believe. What do you think?
There's a GPA minimum.
30 is the average GPA at Oregon State.
Oh man. I would like to say like 3.2.
That's what it should be.
That's what it should be, yeah.
3.7.
Oh damn! What? That's like almost perfect, right?
Right.
Jesus.
And so it's like, and here's the reality: anyone who's in education knows that a legitimate 3.7,
yeah,
is not getting an 1130 on their SAT.
No. Yeah, they do.
And by the way,
better.
half the school got below 1130. So
yeah,
but that's what happened, and that's why. So to bring it now full circle, that's why schools are going back to the test, because they realized
everyone's fucking lying with their GPAs. Wow.
Everyone can't even trust a GPA.
Oh my.
Right?
Yeah, you need some sort of standard, is what you need. And I hate to say it, but yes, SAT score does track with intelligence. I hate the exam. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a bullshit exam, but it really does select for like who is willing to put in the time to practice and whatnot and play the game.
And by the
which
way,
is intelligence.
I'll say the controversial thing that needs to be said and that should be said and that should be the norm, right?
Yeah.
Here's the reality. Everyone wants to poo-poo the exam and say, oh, it's biased toward kids who can afford prep.
Right.
Right? They're not wrong. It is.
Sure.
But it doesn't mean we should abolish it and do a race towards the bottom.
Right. That's going straight down.
Right. We should be trying to lift up the bottom half towards the top, right? And
sure.
So, what's interesting about the SAT is that, or the way it should, here's the way it should be, right? And again, we would never, the over-woke society will never allow for this, but what it really should be is, look, if you come from a place of relative means, you should get your fucking ass in there and take the test, and don't hit me with the I'm a bad test taker bullshit.
Yeah, or like I'm neurodivergent, I'm dyslexic.
Right.
Like people come up with all these excuses,
By the
and
way,
I hear it from parents all the time. Yeah,
we don't just do college admissions. We've also historically done a lot of SAT, and yes, I also hear from. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
95% of calls that I get from parents when it's about SAT have historically been, my kid's a bad test taker.
Yeah.
And I always correct them. I say, no, they're not. Your kid just hasn't mastered the skills necessary to succeed on the test.
I like that. There you go.
Right?
Yeah. They're not dumb. It's just like they just haven't had the right education yet.
Yeah. And they're not bad test takers. Like, oh, they're amazing elsewhere. You know why they're amazing elsewhere? Because your school is fucking grade inflating.
Yeah.
And they're not telling your kid that they're really a B student.
Yes. Yeah. It's like telling a brick that they're a sponge, and it's like, no, you're a brick.
And by the way, we also have this like false sense of superiority for the A student over the B student. Who
Yeah.
gives a shit? Like George Bush, I mean, granted it was nepotism, but the famous quote was like, I was a C student at Yale and I became president of the United States. Like,
Yeah, C's get degrees.
we need to, C's get degrees. Like, we need to stop this bullshit around like, oh, well, the A is better than the B than the C. Like, fuck that. Who cares? Like,
Yeah.
like do the best you can. And when you're not doing, like when you do get a C, are you putting in the work to be better, to try and turn that C into a B?
Yeah. Is there progress? You know,
is there
are you better than you were yesterday? Is what I say. That's what I always tell the kids. Don't compare yourself to like your classmates. I mean, it's good to like try to want to be as good as your classmates, but look at yourself and be like, are you doing better? If you're doing better, great, awesome, cool, positive trajectory.
100%. So anyway, so the controversial claim is, look, the rule should be if you come from means, you should have to take the test. And if you don't come from means, you shouldn't have to take the test because you can't afford the prep that all those people from means have. And we should not exclude that kid from an opportunity to go to a school of his or her dreams.
Sure.
just because
Well,
they
hopefully
don't-
his dream, hopefully not his parents' dream, right? That's the whole thing.
Exactly.
We hope it's their dream.
Exactly. And look, the last thing I'll say about I mean, I have so many things to say, but like,
Yeah,
the last
it's
thing I'll
okay.
say-
You can say lots of things on this podcast. We're good.
Yeah, the last thing I'll say about this process is like, look, the best school in the country is not Williams College or Princeton University,
Yeah.
right? The best school in the country is the school where you are going to thrive.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where that is. You know,
Yeah.
one of my favorite things I talk about all the time here in LA, I refer to it as the Persian move.
Okay.
Okay.
Like the diaspora or like what?
Yeah,
What's
no.
the
I mean, well, there's a huge Persian
community in
population.
Beverly Hills. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends.
Really all over LA. But I will tell
Yeah.
you this: if you've met a Persian in LA,
Uh-huh.
there's like a 93% chance they pulled this move.
Okay. What's the
Okay.
move?
They realized, they said, wait a second, I don't have to engage in this insanity around getting into college, like
Uh-huh.
extracurricular community service, all the
Yep.
things, right?
Yeah. The
I don't
game.
have to deal with any of that. I can get my sort of like A's and B's.
Mm-hmm.
I can then go and enroll at either Pasadena City College or
Yep.
Santa Monica College.
SMC. Yep.
I can get a 4.0 or
Mhm.
a 3.9, and then I can literally waltz
Over to
into
UCLA.
into UCLA or USC.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. Where did you go to school?
I went to University of Texas for undergrad, and I went to UCLA for my PhD.
Great. When was the last time that someone said to you, hey, Gio, did you go to UT all 4 years?
No one's ever asked that.
Right? No, I've
Yeah.
never been asked it once in my life. And the Persians realized,
Yeah.
good for them, I can save
Oh, so much on the intro courses.
$150,000 at this
Yes. Yeah.
point, right? And get the same fucking degree that everyone else is getting.
Yeah.
Genius.
It's a bargain. Yeah, it's genius.
So, for us, we look at it as like, hey, there's so many ways to get to the finish line.
Sure.
And the best school in the country or the best pathway, I should say, is the pathway that's going to get you to be a productive citizen
Yeah.
in this country. And
feel like some sort of fulfillment for like what you do,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, look, I grew up in a generation where vocational schools and trade schools were dead.
Yeah. Yeah. They were like demonized. Like, oh, your kid's dumb. He's going to welding school. Yeah.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
I will tell you, I met a guy the other day from Mississippi.
Uh-huh.
Okay. He went to trade school for plumbing.
Yeah.
He started working for a plumber, like got pretty good after a couple years. Bought his own truck.
Okay.
Okay. He now owns 11 trucks
Oh, wow.
and he makes $3 million a year as a plumber.
Jesus. And he didn't need a fancy degree from Harvard or anything.
He could sit there with like this for Harvard.
He's like,
right?
fuck this.
So-
Yeah. He's like,
So, and by the way, the guy was whip smart.
Yeah.
Incredible entrepreneur. Like, he learned from the school of life, which is good for
Yep.
him. Like,
yeah.
so we don't our stance as a company is always, and my stance as a counselor myself is always like, hey man, like I'm not poo-pooing Williams and Princeton and all these schools. Like,
Yeah, they're good
great.
schools. Yeah, yeah. Don't get me wrong, they're good. Yeah.
Yeah, they're great, but like they're also by far unnecessary to go to. Like,
yes, unless you
and
just want the clout.
I'll
Your
tell you
parent wants the
one
clout.
more thing, and this is for like the AB or the BC student out there.
Sure.
So what a lot of people don't realize, and this is another game I play, although I don't have the slide, so I think Sherry is obnoxious, but like one of the games I play with families is I will pull up a slide with 80 schools on it.
Yeah.
Okay. And I tell people, go down the left column, which is 22 schools, and tell me how many schools you've legitimately heard of. I played this game last night with a family.
Yeah.
Okay. The mom had heard of 6. The dad had heard of 4. And the girl who's going to go to college had heard of 3
Yeah.
out of 22. So I said, where do you think I took this list of schools from? And they gave what is the typical answer that I always get. Which is, well, that must be some list of best schools.
Yeah. Some whatever U.S. News list.
So I went to the next slide. Harvard, Princeton, Stanford, Yale, Williams, Emory. I mean, you had heard of 100% of them.
Yeah.
So I came back. I said, here you've heard of under 25%. Where is this list from? And they said, we don't know. I said, that's the list of schools where kids went to undergrad, who this year, I'm giving you real-time information, were accepted to Harvard Law School.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes,
So,
the graduate program. Yeah.
So what's the lesson here?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that one of the biggest weights in the ranking of a graduate program is what was the average GPA of your students when they were in undergrad.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Okay. So it's a huge weight in the process. So a lot of people think like they work their ass off and they get into Princeton. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Or they
good.
get into Harvard. Congratulations, right? But now you're up against the smartest academic kids in the country.
Yep.
Notice how I did not say the best kids in the country because
No, but the ones that have the best test-taking skills, whatever scores. Yeah, exactly.
so to pull off the 3.9 or 4.0 there
Yeah.
is very difficult.
Oh, very difficult. Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you get a 3.5 at Harvard, I'll be the first to tell you that's probably a 4.0 at most schools in America.
Sure.
But do you know what it's not?
It's not a 4.0.
It's not a 4.0.
Not a 4.0.
Okay. And so, for what I tell people is like, if you go to Harvard and get a 3.5, you're not going to Harvard Law School.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Okay. But if you go to those 75% of the schools on that list that no one's heard of,
Sure.
but you get that 4.0 or that 3.9,
Yeah.
and then you obviously you need to get a good LSAT score, boom, you could go to Harvard Law School.
Yeah. And honestly, the graduate program is worth more than the undergrad at that point, you know?
Listen to me. For anyone out there, okay, if you go to Harvard undergrad and then you go to some, Chupalaka State graduate school that no one's ever heard of, nobody's going to be impressed with your graduate degree.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
However, if you do it the other way, you go to my made-up school, Chupalaka
Whatever,
State,
Montana, whatever the fuck, Lake, whatever, community college, and then...
and then you go to Harvard, people only care that you went to Harvard for graduate.
Yeah.
So it's just something I tell kids, and this is finally, I know that was a very long run we went on, but finally to bring it back to the original line that the kid in the chat said, but you need a 1600 and a 4. The reality is you don't. And, there are different ways to get to the finish line. And, we're big fans of finding the best way for each kid individually.
Yeah, the path for what they want and stuff. Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, one of the kids that just asked in the chat, he's like, can I get into Harvard with a 3.5 GPA from like high school?
Almost impossible.
Almost impossible. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Just
It's not impossible. Like if you cured
someone
cancer,
said you can donate a library. Someone said if you donate a library, they'll let you in.
That's exactly
not
right.
wrong.
If you donate the library, you could have a 3-1 and get it.
Yeah. 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 Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, it's too fun. You hit on a lot of good points, and I tell a lot of students myself what you talk about, the Persian trick. I didn't know it was called like the Persian trick, but that's great.
By the way, that's self-named. Like
The self-named. Okay, that's that. Yeah, that's the Perry name for it. But yeah, and I tell students, go to community college, get those bullshit, intro classes, Calc 101, Chem 101. Which you don't need to go to a fancy college for these. And honestly, it's worse if you do, because you're in a lecture hall with 400 kids at UCLA trying to learn Calc 1, whereas at SMC, you're in a class of 30, and you're paying so much less. And honestly, the best way to get into college is to show a college that, hey, I can already do well in college courses. That is miles better than any SAT score, any GPA or whatever. Yeah.
100%. And my line always with that is like, why are at this point in the game, like, I don't know if anyone asked this question, but I'll answer it anyway. They said, like, whereas a lot of people say, like, should I even go to college anymore? Right.
Oh, yeah.
The answer is, for the aggregate, right? For most kids, the answer is yes. You should go to college. College is by far and away the number one ticket into the middle, upper middle, and upper class.
Sure. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Do you need college? No, but you need to make that decision not in a vacuum of like, some dude on TikTok told me I don't need to go, right? So, but I think there are some very informed decisions. Like, I'll give you my favorite example.
Yeah, sure.
That didn't exist 20 years ago. These days, you could go to a coding school. You could pay like 25 grand for 1 year, and you can walk out making 6 figures.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
they just get to the point. They just get straight to the point of what you need to know. They're like, we don't care that you took history. We don't care you took fucking English. You just need to know how to be a full stack dev. Cool. Here's a salary.
Exactly. So for me, it's like, look, there's, as long as you're making the decision not to go to college based on complete information.
Yeah.
That that's the best decision for you, then fuck yeah. Like, you don't need to go to college.
Right.
But
no.
By far and away, college is the number one ticket. What we always tell people is like, look, be smart about it. Like, I'd be the first to tell you, if let's say your family doesn't want to pay $90,000 a year.
Yeah, well.
Right? Which not many do, right? But like, let's say they don't want to pay it, and you get into your dream school and it's $90,000 a year.
Right.
Like, is that worth taking a
It's an insane loan. You're basically taking out a fucking house. You're taking out a mortgage at that point.
Right? Like, is that worth it? Probably not. I'd be the first to tell you that. But by starting early, okay, like if you could get started 7th, 8th, 9th grade, there's a lot of things you can do, applying for scholarships, getting married, that can bring down that crippling cost of college. Yeah. Right? And one of my biggest messages to kids is like, it is very rare, unless your parents are loaded, that you will be paying the sticker price.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right? Sticker price is mostly for international kids and maybe a few wealthy kids in the U.S. So, I think it's the move for kids is like, do what gets you to the finish line. I do think the concept of the 4-year college experience is headed towards dead. Because no one wants to take on that debt. But why are you paying $90,000 to take Econ 101? Like, that's fucking dumb.
Yeah, it's dumb. Yeah. So, I'd say the social aspect is kind of worth it, though. And especially, we see this in today's society, right? A lot of Gen Z is not getting out of their parents' house. They're not, becoming adults. And so I do think college is a nice, like, kick out of the door of, like, go learn how to, like, cook your own mac and cheese and do your laundry.
Right. I absolutely 100%. And, like, but I think where we're headed is, we're headed to a 2+2 model where people will go get that bullshit out of the way.
Sure.
And not pay 90 grand to take Econ 101. And then they're going to go to UT or Miami or whatever for the 2-year college experience, which will be loaded with social.
Yeah.
Right? But they're going to pack 4 years of social into 2 years, basically. That's where I think we're headed. because
And I think it's smart because then you're using the university for what, again, for those upper division classes, those research experiences, those connections that you need only at the upper level. You don't need, a Nobel laureate teaching you Chem 101. But if you're going into like organic, nuclear, whatever chemistry, then yes, that helps.
that helps 100%.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think that's where we're headed.
Do you know? So one people in the chat's asking about. Do you help anyone with like European universities, or do you mainly just focus on? Do you know anything about the European?
Yeah, we just got someone into the Università per Stranieri, which is like the university for foreigners in
Italy. Yeah,
in Italy,
right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I recognize Stranieri. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Gio.
Giovanni Rossi. I have the John Smith of Italy names. Like people, when I tell them my name is Giovanni Rossi, they look at me as if I said my name was Jane Doe. They're like, "Excuse me, what? Like that can't be real."
But yes, we do help with European universities. They're much easier to get into, especially for Americans.
Oh, really interesting.
Yeah.
Well, why are they? Is there? I don't know. Is difference in standardized tests, or they just want your money, or like I don't know.
A little bit of the money, but also like the schools across Europe are not. It's interesting. Like only in America, it's funny. Like the way I phrase it when I phrase it the other way when I'm talking to international kids to sort of explain to them why it's so fucking crazy here, right? But what people don't realize is that internationally, the product being sold by a college is a pathway.
Right.
So at 18 years old, you're going to be a bit in business or law or
they already know what they're doing in Europe so much younger. I think here in the U.S. at 18, people know fuck all about what they want to do. And that's why they just go to college because they're like, I'll figure it out.
Well, so the number one thing we sell in the U.S., the number one product is not an education. Right? Although you will get that.
Is it an experience? We sell the experience?
The experience. No, it is. Think about it.
Yeah.
Like, there's literally, there is nowhere else on planet Earth where you could go to an 80,000 seat stadium to see a football season.
Oh, yeah. No, it's dope. The college experience is great. I say all the kids should experience it. It's fun.
By the way, and then you leave the stadium and you go to like an a cappella concert, and then you leave that and you go to like the Chinese Student Association because they're doing like a cool
free egg rolls or something. I don't know. Yeah. There's all these clubs. Yeah, there are all these clubs and everything. They're super dope.
So that shit doesn't exist for the most part abroad, and so it's just much more direct there. It's not as crazy.
Yeah. They're like, let's get to the. It's more utilitarian. They're like, let's get to the point. Like, you need this for this degree to do this. Cool. Whereas in America, we're like, all right, but like, let's have a tailgate first or something.
Exactly.
Then we'll go play the game, but we got a tailgate.
Exactly.
Oh, that's too funny. All right, nice. Let's go. I love all this. Again, Perry, I could talk with you for hours about all this, and you're a wealth of information in here. But let's get some of the questions the students submitted. Let me throw them up here so that we can start running through them. Okay, cool. First one here is from Equity. He says, how many extracurriculars do you need, and what type of extracurriculars should students focus on to build a unique and compelling application? How much time should they spend, and should you have a lot of volunteering hours? Oh, okay.
Great questions. So, first and foremost, college admissions today, for better or worse, I'm going to qualify.
Just say for worse.
For worse, yeah. That's like, why did I say for better? It's like 100% for worse.
It's always for worse.
So, college admissions today, when I was applying to college, we all signed up for like 20 clubs our senior year, and we were like, look how involved we are. Right?
Oh, yeah.
As we talk about at AKALA, college admissions is about 3 pillars. It's about commitment. Are you doing a lot of something over time?
Okay.
Depth. Are you going deeper than surface level? Okay.
Sure.
I can't tell you how many fucking kids come to me and they're like, I want to be a computer scientist at MIT. And I'm like, great. What have we done? They're like, well, I took AP computer science. I'm like, awesome. And I'm like, what else? Do you have a crickets button? Is there
I'll add one. That's a good one. I need that. Yeah. Crickets button.
So, anyway, so it's literally fucking crickets. And I say to them, I want you to imagine, and this is sad that it's this way, but colleges have become like applying for a job. Okay. I don't need to be humble. I can tell you, I'm one of the best college counselors in the country. Right?
You're the guru. We've announced you as the guru. Twitch now knows you're the guru. You're the guru.
And I am very proud of my, quote unquote, my 10,000 hours. I have helped a lot of kids get into all the schools of their dreams. But if I applied for a job tomorrow at Bank of America or Goldman Sachs to be an investment banker,
you'd be a scummy finance guy.
Well, no, but I would never get the fucking job.
Right, yeah. Nope, not gonna happen.
You got some kids into college?
Yeah. Like, that doesn't apply to what the position is.
Exactly. And so sadly today, college admissions is that. It's you can't just say you want to go to business. You got to be able to back up that you want to go to business.
Yeah, and then have you done business things?
Have you done business things? And so we refer to it at our company as, have you built a lane?
Okay.
Okay. And in a dream world, although not required, but in a dream world, your lane would consist of, like, let's just go down the business route, right?
Sure. Yeah, let's say someone wants to go to Harvard for business or whatever. Yeah.
Right. So if you wanted to go to Harvard for business, in a dream world, you would have taken like AP Econ. You would have done some online courses in business.
Some
like
certification or something. Yeah.
You would have, as an extracurricular, started your own business.
Right.
You would have started a club at your school that's focused on business.
Entrepreneur club or whatever the fuck.
Exactly. And you would teach little kids how to do business in underserved kids.
I go to inner city whatever and I help 100 kids set up their own fucking lemonade stands or something.
Exactly.
You're just I'm a big social entrepreneur at this point. Yeah.
Exactly. But I always tell people, I say, listen, this is what I do. I have a lot of, a ton of Asian clientele.
Sure.
Right. And I love them. They're unbelievable kids. And
the parents are very involved in their education. They're very much sometimes to a fault where the kid feels like too much pressure, but yes, they're good.
Exactly. But I tell kids all the time, all right, I get on these Zooms, right? And we'll have 100 families on the Zoom. And I'll say, hey, I want you to raise your hand if your kid is involved in one of the following 7 activities: debate, model Congress, model UN, mock trial, robotics, sports, and the orchestra.
The orchestra, yeah. I was about to say, where's playing the violin and piano? It's got to be in there somewhere.
Exactly. And so I tell them, on the Zoom, you have the raise your hand feature.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
So I tell them, I say, hey, 100% of you raise your hands.
Yeah.
Not 99, not 98, but 100% of you raise your hands. So do you think I got lucky and I got the 100 people who do these fucking activities, or do you think everyone does these fucking activities?
Yeah. Someone said also math competitions is probably another one.
Math competitions, right? These are things that, and by the way, and I don't poo-poo those things. I love those things. I think they teach you incredible life lessons.
Yeah. They're great activities. Yeah.
But if you're not going deeper, again,
than just being a participant, you need to be the vice president or something.
Leadership is a big thing.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about you need to be doing other things that separate you. Why should I take your fucking kid?
Yeah.
Right? You're all doing debate.
You're all doing model UN. You're all doing this.
UN. I have a student right now, and she's I love her, by the way, just in case she's listening. And she's an amazing human, but she's obsessed with her mock trial team, who's one of the best in the country. But I tell people all the time, I said, listen, unless you're being recruited to college to do that thing, which is usually only sports and the band,
sports, right? Yep.
Maybe theater, music, whatever. But unless you're getting recruited, no one gives a shit that you're doing that activity, right? And it's I hate to be harsh about it.
Yeah, but it's the reality. It's the tough love. You're I'm not gonna sugarcoat this shit. That's why this is my job.
And I'm gonna exactly. And I'm gonna give you guys the numbers so you hear it.
Yeah.
Right. So you understand why? Because I was a college soccer player. Nobody supports sports more than I do as a incredible life-changing activity for kids.
Sure. Yeah. No, sports are great. Okay? Yeah, teaches a lot.
But I know you tutor math, Gio, so we'll let you do the math. Okay.
Let me do the math. Yeah.
No pressure. There's 36,000 high schools in America.
Uh-huh.
Okay. if you think about 10 girls teams and 10 boys teams on each school,
Yeah.
and you round down, how many sports teams is that?
It's almost 1 million. Yeah,
Yeah,
720,000. Yeah, it's huge.
If we round down, 700,000 sports teams.
Yeah.
So college admissions officers just got tired of hearing about the time you got injured, but you fought your way back and you learned about resilience.
I've literally had a kid write that on one of his essays. Literally. He's like, yeah.
I hear it all the time, and I'm like, bro, you're not writing about sports. Like,
Yeah.
because they don't care. Like, there's nothing you can tell them about sports that they haven't heard a million times.
I see. So it's about distinguishing yourself, you know. Yeah.
So commitment, depth, and the third one's differentiation. What are
Got
you
you.
doing to
It's
differentiate
different.
yourself from your
Yeah.
peers? So to go back to this question, how many extracurriculars? The answer is not that many these days.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just like 2 or 3.
Like, don't
And-
shotgun approach it. I've had students where, like, they just keep listing things, and I'm just like,
Exactly.
bro, like, what?
Exactly. How many extracurriculars do you need? The answer is a handful, like a small number.
Yeah.
I would say, like, let's say you were doing 4 activities. I would say 2 or 3 need to be in your lane,
Yeah.
and then 1 or 2 can be outside. And again, guys, just to be clear, if you play the violin, my biggest regret in life is that I gave up the piano.
No, you can still go
Okay.
back, dude. You can still go back. It's still
I
there.
can still go back. But like, I hugely regret giving up the piano. So that's a huge regret for me. So I highly recommend, like, don't stop doing the things you love,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
find the time in your days to do these other things in your lane.
Yeah. Someone was asking, like, should people do what they want to do, or should they do what's unique? And I think you hit the nail on the head, where it's just like, don't quit the things you like to do, but make sure you're making time for these in your lane college admission things.
Exactly. And how much time you should spend, the answer is there. Here's how you should think about it, right? School ends at 2:30.
Yeah.
Right? Or let's just call it 3:00.
Call it 3. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah.
Between 3 and 9 p.m., that's 6 hours.
Uh-huh.
Or even, you know what? Let's say it takes you a full hour to get home, okay? Which it
Yeah.
doesn't for most kids.
Yeah.
But let's go down to 5 hours.
Yeah.
Right? That is 25 fucking hours in a week.
Yeah.
I understand that you guys have homework, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But like 25 hours in a week plus
The weekends.
another 20-ish hours that you could be finding during a weekend.
Yeah.
Like, I know you guys are busy. Listen, I tell this to every kid, okay? When I was in high school, true story, I would finish school at 2:30. I would be, this is so dorky.
It's okay.
We would be playing roller hockey, like in our rollerblades.
Wow, you went outside? What? It's such a rare thing these days. You
That's
touch
right.
grass.
We would play roller hockey in our neighborhood for 3+ hours.
Oh, yeah.
I'd come back. I'd eat a couple of
Hot
bites.
dogs or whatever. Yeah.
I'd race to soccer practice. I'd come back. I'd do a little homework and go to bed.
Yeah.
That was every day.
Yeah.
Okay. So I definitely want to tell everybody, I sympathize with you. I hate that I have to tell you to do all this shit.
Yeah.
But-
That you have to play the game.
There's no, let's put it that way, right? There's no scenario where you're like, I'm not going to fucking play this game, and then you're also going to get a result,
Yeah.
right?
You can't
Like, it doesn't
you can't
work.
protest the system. You can't protest the system.
You either play or you don't play. That's your
Yeah.
game. Like,
Yeah.
and if you don't play, you're not getting the result. Like, end of story. So, I had a kid a couple years ago who really wanted to go engineering, star student, amazing SAT, no extracurriculars, no community service,
Sure.
no summer experience.
Yeah.
And the father was like baffled that the kid didn't get into all these competitive schools.
Oh,
And I
man.
was like, bro, what planet are you on? Like, you're
Yeah,
you guys
bro,
are
yeah.
playing like a 1960s game.
Yeah.
So,
So it's important to have them. Yeah. And yeah, we went over it. Like, yeah, keep stuff in your lanes. You
And
have
then-
actually you have a calculator. Well, go on. Go with your thought. And I have
just
something
the
else.
last thought, just with the last question,
Yeah,
with the
let's do it.
volunteering hours.
Yeah.
Again, if you can do the community service in your lane, like if you're doing computer science, like maybe you could teach kids how to code, like whatever. That's ideal. any community service is amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. The difference is, and this is how you guys can think about it, it's why we always talk about starting early. Let's say you picked your community service, and every Sunday morning you wake up and from 9 to 11 a.m. or from 10 to noon, you bang out 2 hours of community service.
Yeah.
Okay. By the time you get to senior year, you will have submitted roughly 400 hours of community service when you really didn't do much.
Yeah, it's just 2 hours.
On our platform, by the way, we have all these things you could do from fucking home. Like, you don't even have to leave home to do the community service, and you can accumulate these crazy amount of hours. You know what the average kid reports for community service?
See, I want to say it's like, I don't know, 20 hours, 30 hours maybe?
Yeah, 40 hours. That's
okay.
it.
Total hours? Yeah, it's 40 total.
For all 4 years. That means you're doing
wow.
10 hours a year.
What?
Right? So, you know, when you ask about should you have a lot of volunteering hours, the answer is yes. And that's because by starting early, by barely changing your schedule, you can accumulate 300 or 400 hours of community service and differentiate yourself from your peers.
Sure. Yeah. That's a way to make, instead of all the, I'm part of the debate team, I'm part of robotics, whatever. It's like, no, but this kid actually, gives back and stuff.
Exactly.
And you have a whole calculator for this. Yeah. Go on. By the way, you're good.
Sorry, just you mentioned about giving back and whatever.
Yeah.
Harvard and Stanford did a joint project called Turning the Tide. You guys can all Google it.
Oh, I'm gonna look this up.
It basically says we need to start rewarding better humans in the college admissions process.
Inspiring concern for others.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. I like this.
So, and you can see common good through college admissions, right? So, so this is from Harvard and Stanford, basically saying like we need better humans, and so this is a way that you can sell yourself as a better human to schools. Sorry, what were you saying about a calculator?
I was going to say y'all have a website on your website here. Again, I'll put the link for everyone in the chat. So this is Perry's company, and they help a lot of kids with college admissions. But you have I saw this. You have like a calculator here. This is super cool. And like I started putting in some of my stuff here and realized how if I were to apply to college today, like I don't think I'd get in.
By the way, none of us would. It's insane.
It's nuts. Yeah. I mean, like, you had the GPA thing here. I was like, well, I think I had like a 3.5 in high school. AP classes I took. I did take a lock. I think I took like 12 and there were like 16 available or something. Or whatever. It was like 16, 12. And then it was like extracurricular hours per week on average. I was like, I don't know, maybe like 4. Community service, I would do like maybe 1. Summer experience, we'll go over this. This is I did do a lot of like I probably did like I would say 100 hours of summer research stuff. And then my SAT was 700 I think on the reading, 720 on the math. ACT was that, and then select a school. So like let's say I wanted to go to University of Texas again. Let's just say I wanted to go back to my undergrad. Yeah, he's like I can already see, dude, you're not going, dude. Yeah, look, so this is cool. Yeah, so wow, GPA, the average is really like a fucking 4. Goddamn.
It's crazy.
Nuts. I guess my course rigor would be okay.
Oh wait, here's how crazy Texas has gotten. In the old days, if you're from Texas,
that was me, top 10. I was the top 10% rule.
Top 10%. You know what it is now?
I don't know, top 5?
Top 5%.
Top 5. Okay, yeah. Luckily, I was top 3% of my class. But
so you would have got.
I still would have cooked.
You would have gotten it. This thing, the chance me feature does not account for that. But yes, you would have gotten it. But by the skin of your teeth.
But that was a unique thing that kids would do in Texas, where they would get a PO box in like some bumfuck county next door, and then register their kid there so that they would be the top 10%.
Yeah, it's just smart.
It's a game. You know what I mean? Yeah. Oh my god, it's crazy. Nice. That's a good question, Equity. All right, let's move on to like another question someone has. Okay, Laz Joma says, for some people, their biggest concern is access to advanced coursework. I do see this a lot. Like some kids like just don't fucking have AP classes in their school. Yep. For some, it's extracurricular activities. Everyone worries about different things to varying degrees. Which do you believe is the biggest barrier for low-income, minority, and/or non-traditional applicants when it comes to accessing higher education? Oh, okay.
Awesome. Good for that, dude. Joseph.
Yeah.
Great question. so just to nip the first part in the bud.
Yeah.
Access to advanced coursework is absolutely not a barrier. So
Yeah.
schools will always judge you in the context of your school.
I see. Yeah.
So
That's why you had your thing. How many AP classes were available, and how many did you take?
That's why we put that there. Exactly.
That's cool.
So if you put 0, then that chance means it's not going to factor that in.
Yeah. Exactly. Right? Yeah.
So that will never be. But in terms of like the barrier, to me, the biggest barrier for underserved and minority kids is just exposure to things like extracurriculars and community service. And now colleges have done I won't call it good. I will call it an okay job at best, right? Of course correcting for that. And so, for example, if as a low income kid, the reason you can't get to the beach cleanup and the homeless shelter, right, is that
mom's working 6 jobs and like you don't have a car, like
exactly. And you got to take care of your brothers and sisters.
Sure, which is great to write on the application, right?
100%.
That's an awesome thing to write.
These schools will 100% like take that into account and take your reality into account.
Okay.
To me, the SAT is definitely a big barrier for low-income kids. And so, what happened?
No, you're good. You good. Someone tried to call me on Discord.
Okay. The SAT is definitely a big barrier for low-income kids. And like I said, it's just access and exposure to, look, the reality for rich kids is they're doing all of the programs around the world.
Yeah. And they also have parents that either are paying someone like you or they've already gone to college, so they know what the game is.
Exactly. There's a book by Anthony Jack called
that's a good one. Anthony Jack. I can look it up and Google it.
Google it real quick. Anthony
Jack. Is it the privileged poor?
Privileged poor.
Privileged poor? Okay, cool.
And one of the biggest barriers is not getting into Harvard, but it's actually surviving and thriving once you're there.
I see. Yeah.
Right? Because these kids, and one of the tragic stories from that book is he talks about this girl who gets into some fancy school and some alumni is hosting a accepted students
on his yacht or something.
Lunch. At his like gazillion-dollar mansion, right? and the family pulls up, and it's like horrible. The parents won't get out of the car.
Oh wow! Because they're like, we don't fit into this tier of society.
It literally, and by the way, the line from the book is like, "We clean their homes," right? And
it's my God! It's like the help. So, to
me, like that's probably the biggest barrier of all.
It's just a class difference. It's a class structure. You feel like you just don't belong.
Yeah, it's an imposter syndrome.
Like you didn't have yacht club. You didn't have what is it? Like you weren't at polo practice on Saturdays.
Exactly. And that to me is like the greatest barrier of all. But
and that's not something we can like easily fix, right? You can't just like tell like you can't fix like the almost caste system like we have here with like class division.
Yeah, it's horrible. And like, look, to me, it's like, and we've had a lot of these kids come through our program. Like, you just need people that are going to suck it up and go through that horrible experience.
Yeah.
Make the next generation.
Yeah. So the next generation has it out. Yeah.
But it's hard.
Yeah, and so this was I remember when they got rid of the SAT and the ACT. So they originally thought, like you were talking earlier, that the SAT is harsher on minorities because they can't, or minorities and poor people because they can't afford the prep classes to do well in the SAT. But then once they got rid of the SAT, now what became the way to get into college was to have all these extracurriculars, which now they figured out, oh, poor people really can't even afford to do those.
Yep.
So now it's like even worse that we got rid of it.
By the way, and then we had the Supreme Court decision where you can't even take race into account.
Yeah,
now.
affirmative action is done. Yeah. I saw Harvard, I think, has like 3% black students now with this year coming in or something because they can't take race into account.
Yeah, it's horrible. So this is like, to me, it's the constant, like and this is a story for another time, but I wrote a paper in college, and the title was Segregation.
Uh-huh.
And then it was a strike through, and kind of the way we wrote ethically, I hand wrote education. And the idea was that we never actually ended segregation. We just renamed it.
Yeah, we just called it something else. Yeah, this was the news article. Yeah, Harvard Law has the lowest black enrollment since the 1960s. This is before the fucking civil rights movement. Like, what?
Insane, right?
It's
like,
nuts.
It's nuts.
Man, yeah, we're trying to figure it out. So someone was asking, do you have to take the SAT and ACT to get to colleges in the U.S.? I think you do now, right?
So a lot of the most competitive schools have gone back to the SAT. There are still a fortune of schools since the pandemic who are still test optional. So the answer is no. You don't have to do it at a massive number of schools. But if you're trying to go to the craziest competitive admissions rate colleges, a lot of them are requiring, and more are going back every year.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Good. All right, let's see. We've got another question. Shantrix was asking, I think this is kind of the same lines. Some of these questions we might have gone over, so we can just give the quick blurb of it. But someone's asking about extracurriculars, non-academic activities weighed more during college applications. And do you think there's a better way to test students to see who will fit into the college than the current system we have of SAT, GPA, and extracurriculars? Oh, I see. So if you were to like rewrite the college admissions system, how would you do it maybe?
Well, first I'd get rid of the rankings, right? Because they're making everyone go crazy. They think this school sucks and this school doesn't, and all because of a fucking magazine. And by the way,
fuck this magazine, dude.
Yeah. And for those of you out there, there's a guy named Malcolm Gladwell.
Yes, I love Malcolm Gladwell. He writes some good books. Yeah.
And Google the podcast Lord of the Rankings. Okay, he did an expose on this, and what you find out is the magazine doesn't give a shit about colleges. It was just to sell more magazines, and everybody fucking took the bait and was like, "Well, these are good schools." And so, when you ask about fixing the system, first it's get rid of that. Second, is that we need more people like us. Like, what kids are
trying to level the playing field.
Yeah, and look, when people ask me why I do what I do, I don't answer because I want to get kids into college. Okay, that's a byproduct. What I want to do is actually end one question. There's one question that almost every fucking kid in America can ask, and I'm talking rich, poor, and everywhere in between.
Is it where's Waldo?
Yeah, where is actually Waldo?
Where's Waldo?
Oh shit! No, but it is. They meet someone like me in grade 12. And I start asking them all the did you do's, right? The extracurricular, community service, summer experience, whatever. And the number one question I get back is, why didn't anyone tell me to do this stuff? Like, why am I hearing about this shit now in grade 12 when I'm dreaming up here and you, Mr. Counselor, I don't know, is telling me that at best I'm down here?
Yeah.
Right? And so for me, we talk about it a different way. So I went to this fancy college, right? And when you go to a fancy college and you ask the following question, you get fancy answers. The question is, what is the purpose of a K-12 system for a society?
It's to have a baseline education, right? To have society have a base level of, literacy and intelligence, right? Hopefully.
Or
it's babysitting.
That's what, exactly. That's what it actually
It's a fucking daycare.
Yeah, exactly. No, so your answer is kind of like the halfway step to the fancy answer.
Okay, the fancy answer,
right? The fancy answer that you're going to get is, well, the purpose of a K-12 system is to learn how to learn.
To learn how to learn. Stop,
right?
bro.
No. I'm telling you.
Stop.
But But I tell people all the time, like, the purpose of a K-12 system for a society is actually really simple. It is to matriculate kids into adulthood to become productive citizens.
Okay. Yeah. It's like a coming of age growth program.
Yeah. And now America is by far the most complicated system on the planet. The finances are insane.
Yep.
And nobody tells you how to do it?
Yeah, what?
Fucking crazy. So to answer this question, right? Like the way to fix it is like you've got to have people like me.
Yeah.
Who can help a kid along the journey, starting as early as grade 7, right? In middle school.
Yeah.
And by the way, when you talk about barriers to
And
underserved
barriers to
kids,
education and stuff, yeah.
I'm the biggest barrier because they can't access people like me.
Sure.
Right. And that's why we built AKALA, so that they can access people like me.
Yeah,
but like,
no.
On the aggregate, kids can't access people like us, right? The experts.
They're priced out and they don't know about it. And like their parents, maybe their parents are immigrants, so like they have no clue what the American system is. They don't even know how to pay American taxes at this point. You know? Yeah.
100%. And what we tell people is like the reason so there's an interesting statistic.
Yeah.
94% of middle school kids will tell you they have the dream of going to college. Okay, 94%. That's regardless of demographic. You can walk into the most low-income neighborhood that you know, and they will all tell you in middle school they want to go to college. Okay? The other statistic is that if you have just one meeting with your counselor in 9th grade, you're 2.5 times more likely to attend college.
Wow, okay.
So we sit there at AKALA and we're like,
just one single meeting? You just see one meeting?
What would it be like if you had 100 fucking meetings?
Yeah.
What if you had 100 engagements with your fucking future?
Yeah. Checking in. Yeah.
0, which is what most kids get.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And so to us, that's the biggest barrier to entry. And the way to fix it, look, here's the thing. I tell people all the time, you should, in creating your profile for college, you should be acting like you want to go to Harvard. Okay, not because you want to go to Harvard. In fact, I don't recommend it for a lot of people.
Yeah,
okay?
don't do it. Yeah. Harvard's actually not any fun.
If you think about what the most competitive schools in America want, and you boiled it down to 2 words, they want better humans.
Better humans. Okay. Yeah. Like, the Harvard thing you were showing me. Yeah. Well, how can we make better humans?
Well, that exactly. But let's back into that. Okay.
Yeah.
When you are doing extracurriculars, okay, you are learning amazing life skills like teamwork, how to work well with others, how to lead,
conflict resolution,
also really important, how to be led.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. How to follow a leader.
Right. Yeah. When you are doing community service, you are learning one of the most important core life skills, and fuck knows we need to fucking get more of this in the world, which is empathy.
Empathy. Yeah, I agree. Kindness,
to be able to empathize with someone else's fucking problems. Like, we have lost that as a society. And so so when a kid shows up, and then summer experience, right? Like when you've done meaningful summer experiences and you've grown as a human, you've grown maturity-wise, emotionally, whatever, you're arriving at Harvard or one of these crazy competitive colleges as a better molded human.
Yeah, you're just a better person. Yeah, exactly. And even if you don't get into Harvard, like the fact that you went through all that growth is miles more.
That's why I tell people, look, you might be a BC student, and that's okay. Yeah. Okay? You don't need to be an A student to make it in this world, right? Yeah. But if you can work well with others, if you can do all those skills that I just mentioned, you are going to have a more successful life.
Yeah, and a better impact on society. Yeah, you become like a contribution.
The answer to the question is like, I actually don't think there should be a lot of changes. She said our extracurriculars and non-academic weighed more. It's not that they're weighed more. It's that
There are ways to differentiate yourself, I guess, more, right?
Well,
Because you're trying to be unique.
And more importantly, you need to do that because
Yes.
everyone and their mother has a fucking 1600 now and a 4.0 to bring it back to that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And so everyone and their mother has a score. So those become the baseline to get into these colleges.
Sure.
So when she says, are they weighted more, right? The answer is like, yeah, they have to be because they're looking for differentiated.
Yeah,
kids.
they're like, how do I differentiate you? Yeah.
So they are weighted more. And then look, the answer, a better way to test students to see who will fit.
Maybe require them to go to community college on it. I think the community college thing you talk about, like take a year at community college, is probably one of the best tests. It's like, can you handle, college level coursework without your mom and dad like calling in to like hold your hand and make sure you do well in the class?
Exactly.
I think that's the biggest like shock, I think, and that's why like I think a lot of kids drop out from college, is that they were used to having helicopter parents take care of them. They were used to there being attendance reports and like they would get yelled at if they didn't show up to class. In college, they don't give a shit if you go to class. They have your money. They're cool.
Yep.
And it's you have to actually want to show up to class. I think that's probably the hardest thing.
And look, I think it's inverted here with the question, because the question is like, well, is there a better way than SAT, GPA, and extracurricular community service, whatever, to figure out if you should get into a college? That gives all the power to the colleges.
Right.
We should flip that and say, is there a better way for kids to figure out if that college is the right fit for them?
Exactly. Okay, I see. Yeah.
And the answer is yes, through people like us, counselors who only give a shit about the kid.
Right. You're not getting paid by Harvard if like these kids apply or like, there's no financial incentive.
When I work with Susie Jane, the only person I give a shit about is Susie Jane.
Yeah.
I give a shit about her and her desires and her dreams and what she's trying to accomplish. And like, you need someone like that. Kids in America need someone like that fighting in their corner, trying to figure out the best fit. Because by the way, the school counselors sadly are not those people. Because
do you think are they also incentivized? Do you think they're kind of like paid off to like push kids towards things?
Well, there's two problems. First of all, most
or is their performance like measured by admission rate? So they're just like, you're a bad counselor if you don't do this.
Well, exactly. And what's also happened is now, like, if I know I've got 4 kids who want to apply to early decision to Harvard.
Okay.
And then Geo comes to me and is like, hey, I'm thinking I want to apply early to Harvard, right?
Yeah.
Like, I as the counselor are going to be like, Geo, what do you think about this school over here?
No. It's like, I already got my 4. I already got my 4. I don't need you.
And so college, well, first of all, a couple problems. Number one, counselors are overwhelmed in this country, and most of them are not dedicated college counselors.
They're fitting a lot of roles, right? Because there's not enough compensation, so they're like, well, you also got to like, I don't know, like teach the soccer team or something too.
Yeah, and do crisis control and mental health and all the shit.
Yeah.
Like, so in America, we have what are known as guidance counselors.
Okay. Yeah. They're like life counselors, but it's like one for like 500 kids.
Right. Exactly. Well, so that's the ratio in America. It's 500 to 1. In LA, by the way, or in California, it's like closer to 1,000 to 1.
Holy shit, yeah.
But what we always point out to people is like the darker truth is that statistic is the good news. That one counselor is not usually a dedicated college counselor. So most of them are not even qualified to give the fucking guidance.
Oh, yeah. Or they're not even taught.
Their schools are not giving them the budgets to go to the national conferences and do the professional development to learn about the trends, to be able to guide those kids.
Because it's changing all the time too, right? Yeah. This is your profession, so you keep up with the like, okay, what's the new trend with like admissions and stuff,
Exactly. And so, I think for me, the best way to figure out the best fit school for a kid, not what kids fit into our school. I think that's the wrong way to.
Okay, I like that. Yeah.
Is that they have access to people like us.
Yeah. Okay.
We need counselors like I said, like
one
This is
counselor
for
makes such a
society.
difference. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is for society. Like, when we talk about some of the problems we're solving, in about 11 days' time, we are going to
Yeah.
hit the year 2025.
Uh-huh.
There is a statistics from the Gates Foundation which says that in 2025, there are going to be 11 million jobs available,
Uh-huh.
and we will not have the people with the degrees to fill those jobs.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, now,
Is this
as
where
we-
AI comes in, though? AI starts taking the jobs.
well, I want to get to some of those projects.
Yeah.
But as we point out, though, that is not a number of people problem.
Uh-huh.
It's a number of people with degrees problem.
Oh, I see. Yeah, they have the training.
And by the
for it.
way,
Yeah.
most of those degrees would change the entire trajectories of entire families,
Uh-huh.
right? If those kids could get those jobs.
Yeah, no, it's that's what we call like life-changing money, is what it is at that point.
Life-changing.
Yeah. Yeah. And it trickles down. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
Cool. No, that's a good answer, Perry. I like that. That's good. Let's see. Oh, this kind of goes. This is funny. The timing of these
good
questions.
segue.
Yeah, it says, do you think AI is the replacement for other working labor classes or simple processes? How would that affect us, and what are the consequences? Oh, wow. Okay.
Look, here's what I will say. I believe it to be true. I have witnessed several of these, what's the right word? Society breaking technologies come through.
Like
right?
electricity took out the candle makers. It's like, oh, we don't need candles anymore. I'm sorry.
Right, exactly. No, 100%. That's exactly the analogy, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
look, I remember when VHS, most people have never heard of that.
Yeah, they probably don't even know what it is. Yeah.
We used to watch movies on video cassettes, and
Yeah, we used to have to rewind stuff. We used to
Yeah,
have to
exactly.
rewind things.
there you go. Okay, we used to watch movies on those. And by the way, there's like even like 8mm. There's all the stuff.
Yeah,
before
there's
that.
laser disc. Like there's some Betamax, right?
And
It gets funky out there.
I remember when they went to DVDs,
Hmm.
which also this generation is like DVD.
Probably
what?
doesn't know what a DVD is either. Yeah, you can't find a DVD drive anymore in a laptop or a computer.
So, I remember when we went to the DVDs, and you could go find those articles, and they are insane. They're like, this is the end of jobs. Like Hollywood is done, right? and by the way, and they did the same thing
Yeah.
when Netflix went to streaming.
When the streaming came out. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So this is what I will say to this question. Look, AI is going to kill a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
But it's going to then create a lot of jobs, right?
Exactly.
Like,
It's just going to
when-
transform them. Yeah.
Right. When we were horse and fucking buggies,
Yeah.
and then we went to cars, there were
Now
suddenly-
mechanics.
There were well, not just mechanics. I mean, like, there are thousands of verticals within the car making industry.
Sure. Yeah.
It never existed when there was no such thing as designing horses, right? There's no
You
designer.
didn't have to do an oil change on your horse.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think, look, there's gonna be some people who lose their jobs because AI can do it better.
Yeah.
But there are so many companies out there now that do these, it's called upskilling, right?
Okay.
Where you were doing X and now you can upskill to Y.
Because
that
AI
you can-
enables you to do it.
Well, or just that now you can upskill to a job that isn't going to be replaced by AI.
Sure.
Right? So I don't think we have to worry about it. We've just seen so many society shifting technologies come out. Look, I remember when the iPhone came out,
Yeah.
right? And people were like,
Or the iPod. Remember the iPod is like, oh, this is the death of like music, dude, because you can
Yeah,
put music on a little
exactly.
box. Yeah.
they were like, oh, Motorola and all these companies are going to die. But like, the reality was they did die, but then like Apple came out. Now Apple has 1 billion employees, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, and then all the Android phones came out, and like, so at the end of the day, like, out of the ashes sprouts a rose, whatever the phrase is, right? Like, I think that it will cause some heartache for a lot of people,
Sure.
but it ultimately, society moves with the change,
And
I
it
don't
moves
think-
forwards. Yeah, it's more efficient, hopefully, to
Yeah,
like
and
do
I don't
better
think we need
things.
to be afraid of it. I think we need to embrace it.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah. Go on.
I will throw this because someone asked a question about AI and college admissions.
Oh yeah. Someone did. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I can find that one.
yeah.
No. Where was it? One sec. I remember someone do it. Was it the one with AKALA? No. No, that was it. One sec. I want to find out what question it was. I remember seeing someone do it.
I forget where it was. Yeah, this is close. This was kind of it.
Yeah, okay. This is Ace's question. Yeah, it's
I didn't see this whole part about the ethical. So look, here's the thing about AI, and this is why like people are like, well, Perry, are you afraid of AI hurting your company?
well, I would say with the essays, like for sure, right? How does that affect things? Because I think kids are just gonna all chat GPT their personal statements at this point.
Well, first of all, look, yeah, sure, a handful of kids probably have gotten away with it, and a few more will get away with it. But the technology is going to come out where it's going to be like, it's going to know if ChatGPT wrote it. Like,
yeah, there's a detector for it. And you can tell. Like, when I see things, I'm like, even on some of these questions, Perry, that I had, like, the students submit, I'm like, you use ChatGPT to come up with the question. And, like, I'm not mad. Because I'm like,
it's fine,
I'm not mad.
Like,
you used a tool. It's a
Right.
publicly available tool. I didn't say you couldn't use ChatGPT. And, honestly, it's a good question. So, yeah, cool. Thanks, you know?
100%. So, you know, look, I will say in education, here's the thing. Like, have you heard of Khan Academy?
Yeah, everyone shows me this Conmigo video from 60 Minutes, dude. Yeah.
Oh wait, what was that?
Oh, you didn't know about this? Yeah, no.
His new AI thing.
Yeah, his AI tutoring thing, which I kind of look at. I'm just like, ugh. And the kids are all like, "It's so cool to talk to an AI." I'm like, "You're just doing it because Anderson Cooper's in front of you and being like, yo, kids, be excited." I know most of the kids think this shit sucks, and like they don't want to fucking talk to an AI tutor about their class.
Listen, here's what I will tell you. You know who the biggest users of Khan Academy are?
I don't know, Sal Khan himself.
Yeah, it's my Chinese and Indian kids.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And they use it because look, these kids are bigger, better, stronger, faster academically, and Khan Academy has some extra work that they can do to continue to upskill and be.
Yeah, and if you are self-driven, it is an amazing resource. It is great.
It's an amazing resource. But I will tell you, you find, like, we say this all the time about our company, right? We know we're not cool.
Yeah.
Right? Like, no one's like, should I play video games or do sports or do AKALA, right? Like,
yeah.
Said by no one ever, right? So we know we're not cool, but kids do generally respect that they need to do this stuff to get into college, right?
They see, it's like you got to eat your vegetables. Like, you don't want to fucking eat your vegetables. You'd rather eat, Fruit Loops all day, but you know you can't survive off of Fruit Loops all day.
Exactly. 100%. So, we know we're not cool, but we also know that no kid is going to be like, hey, you know what I think I'm going to do today? I'm going to go on AKALA and do it all by myself. Like, that's just not going to happen. There's a great, a guy who graduated from Williams, where I went, is a guy named Clarence Otis Jr. Okay. He's the former CEO of Darden Restaurant Group, which is one of the largest restaurant chains in the world. I think they have things like Olive Garden, places, all places you've heard of. This guy.
Oh yeah, definitely dined as a young kid. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and so he is from Watts here in LA.
Okay. Yeah, group in Watts. Oh, that's cool. Oh, nice. I didn't know that. Okay.
Really amazing story. And he has a graduation speech he gave at Williams, and he talked about, and I fucking love this so much.
Yeah.
He said, in this life, there are the creators of opportunity, right? Someone had to open the door for you to get that job or whatever. And then there are the preparers, the ones who prepared you to be ready to take advantage of.
So when the opportunity was there, that you could actually take it.
Exactly.
Oh,
okay.
And
I fucking love that so much. And I think for me, look, like you said it the best right there. If you are self-driven, there is nothing you can't learn.
Especially in today's age. So many resources. It's nuts.
By the way, MIT, Stanford, Harvard, and now a whole slew of other schools have released their whole fucking course loads online for free.
Yeah, I say this. It's MIT OpenCourseWare. I say you can go get an MIT education for free.
In fact, you can get a better than MIT education because most kids at MIT are going to take 32 courses.
Yeah.
You could take 98 courses.
Sky's the limit.
Sky is the limit. There's no amount of courses you can't take. Like, it's like
Yeah.
crazy, right? For free, by the way.
Right.
Right? So for that kid who's self-motivated, great, amazing.
Yeah.
But most kids need a preparer and
Yeah.
a creator.
Yeah, exactly.
And so,
Which is usually parents, but nowadays parents are working 2 jobs, so they can't really do that for their kids.
so look, will AI help someone who's trying to be self-motivated to discover certain things they can do to get into college? The answer is like, yeah, definitely better than zero.
Yeah.
But is AI ever going to really understand the year-to-year trends and the nuances of college admissions? I
Yeah.
don't believe it can. And so if you're trying to crack into like the tippy top competitive schools, like AI is going to run anywhere from 2 to 6 years behind. Like they're
Exactly,
just-
because the data is trained on, and they even say this in ChatGPT. They say like, "Hey, this data is trained on 2023 information." So
Exactly.
things have probably changed in the last year.
Exactly. And so I think AI is a wonderful, by the way, I think for a lot of things, like not just education, but AI is a wonderful tool
I use it every day.
to have in your toolkit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
It's like a calculator. I'm just like, now I don't have to do these meaningless tasks anymore because AI can just do it for me.
Exactly. But I don't think it's going to level the playing field. I think what will level the playing field is creators and preparers.
Yeah, okay, good. Like you said, yeah. The people that, again, for the kids that aren't motivated, who just want to play video games and don't even know about this, having someone that says like, "Hey, Timmy, by the way, like you should get started on this community service, man. Like, you're gonna want this later."
and I'm telling you, like, if you talk to most people in their lives who have like made it into that middle upper class,
Yeah.
they can all remember anywhere from 1, 2, 5, or more teachers
Yes.
who forever impacted their lives.
Yeah. Like a good teacher, especially, I think these are the gatekeepers to like people going into STEM degrees, is that you needed to have a good calculus teacher and like a good physics, chemistry, or biology teacher. You needed one of those. If you didn't have those, like, you're screwed. Like, you're not going to be driven towards STEM.
No one's going to be like, what's the Google one, Gemini?
Oh, yeah, the Gemini AI, yeah.
No one's going to be like, man, without Gemini, I would have never made it.
They praise the AI overlords. Yeah.
Like, come on, bro. So, like, look, like I said, I think some of the cool stuff that AI is going to do to level the playing field is going to be for like the highly self-motivated, mostly international kids, like who are trying to do.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to escape poverty in like third world countries. You know, they're like, yo, I hate having to forage for fucking like grass seeds to eat, and my family lives in a mud hut. But the American dream looks great, so I'm gonna fucking go to Khan Academy. Yeah, I get that. But that's and again, that's what I even do with my nonprofit. I don't go after those kids. Like that's not my demographic. I go after the kids who are like, not really so much motivated towards math or science, and like I try to show them that like, hey, it's actually a cool thing. And life is like this video game. You keep grinding all the time. Whereas, like, if you put in the hours, you'll get the skin, you'll get the prize or the digital whatever. But in the real world, that's like you get to hopefully buy a house. I don't know. My generation still can't fucking do this. So, like, I understand that, like, it doesn't look so bright. But, yeah, we try to do that. Anyways, yeah, that's a good question, Ace. Yeah.
Yeah, what else we got?
Let's see what else we got. I think we talked about this. Yeah, AI helped the future generation. We did that. We already did this one. Like, we skipped through a couple to go find that one. Let me see where we were. Maybe
yes, right?
Maybe the second part of this where it says, "What should I do to create a balance in working, school, regular life to relieve stress?" Mental health is a big important thing with students.
I mean, guys, I think I keep going back to it. The first thing is stop validating U.S. News and World Report.
Yeah, screw them, dude. Tell them no.
I hope that entire business explodes. in a
Bro, I didn't
fire.
even know this magazine like existed like outside of just the fucking rankings.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Malcolm Gladwell, Lord of the Rankings, watch it. It's insane. Like, you'll sit there and be like, oh my God, it's such bullshit. We've been lied to this whole time.
Yeah.
Look, guys,
I think it's important for kids to be kids too, right? Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I was much better off in my life because I played roller hockey for 3 hours a day. Like, with my friends.
Friendships,
Right?
yeah.
So, look, America affords you something that no other country in the world does, which is the ability to go to college and experiment and discover.
Yeah.
Now, in the modern day, with college being so expensive, you got to sort of adjust a little bit for that. Maybe
Sure.
it's the 2+2 I mentioned. Maybe you go get the bullshit courses out of the way, and then you get to experiment for 2 years at college, right?
Mhm.
But like, you need to find a balance. Yes, don't like. The stress should come because. Let me phrase it a different way.
Yeah.
I think sorry, I'm gonna phrase it
You're
different.
good. You're good. You're good.
I think every kid should learn the hustle gene.
Okay.
Okay.
Learn how to get
Hustling-
after something.
Yeah, like go and start a lemonade stand. I'm serious. Like, go start a fucking lemonade stand on a street corner.
Yeah.
Within 1 day, maybe 2, you will know if this is a good street corner.
Yeah, you'll look at your pocket and be like, how much money did we make? You know,
Let me tell you something.
did we sell any lemonade today?
I live in Marina Del Rey. Okay. There is a guy who sells hot dogs.
Yeah.
Okay. Who constantly was shifting corners.
Okay.
He has not moved from his current corner in 6 months.
He A/B tested and he found out. He's like, this is the optimal corner to sell hot dogs.
And that's hustling. Right? Like, I
Yeah.
think the thing that this generation lacks
Yeah.
is and I think part of the stress that comes is like, you're told you can't fail.
Interesting. Yeah. And also, there's a lot of risk aversion, I think, in the upcoming generation, which, again, going through COVID and whatnot, you're super on tilt with like, man, I don't want to take any risks. Like,
Right.
shit is dangerous.
But like, I will tell you guys, like, you have to take risks. You have to fail. Failure is great. I will tell you a great story about my single days. I did very well for myself. Okay, we'll leave it there. Right? But many ladies, and at one point, a friend of mine who was not doing as well, he turned to me and he was like, "Perry, you don't fucking get it. Okay,
I'm out here. I'm starving. You're eating at the buffet, Perry. I'm hungry, dude.
Right, exactly." He goes, "We go out 10 nights. You're
Yeah.
9 out of 10 nights.
Yeah.
Right? You don't get my
struggle, my empathy. Yeah.
And I said, "No, Ryan, I do get your struggle. The difference between me and you is that I'm willing to fail.
Wow. You're willing to strike out. You're not afraid of the rejection.
You see me at the end of the night holding hands with a girl and
Yeah.
leaving the bar.
Yeah. You don't see the
Right?
struggle up to that.
What you didn't see was the 40 girls who told me no.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm not-
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I never batted 1,000.
Yeah. No one bats 1,000. What? Unless
one
you're like
bats
6 foot, finance, blue eyes, or something these days.
Right,
You know?
exactly. So but you've got to be willing to, you got to love the word no. I
Yeah.
love hearing it. It
Yeah.
motivates me. I'm like, okay, what do I got to do to be better
Yeah.
so that I stop hearing that word?
Right. And not be so risk adverse that you're just like, oh, I don't ever want to be rejected. Like, oh.
Yeah. And so look, I think you got to find a work-life balance, right? In your schoolwork, right? If there's something you love, I don't care what it is. If it's video games, if it's music, if it's sports, if it's do those things.
Yeah. Do what makes you happy.
But also realize that you're not allowed, it was what I was saying before, is you're not allowed to just be like, well, I got the grades and the test scores, and I didn't do any of the other things, but I still want to play in the game.
Yeah.
Right? we have to accept that the real world is real, right?
Yeah, and it's not fair. It's you know,
not
it's
fair.
yeah, it's not a fair fair game out there.
And so I'm a big believer in like, look, like go experience that.
Yeah.
Go experience what it's like for a college to reject you that you really wanted to go to.
Yeah.
Right?
Get used to it.
The founder of Alibaba, Jack Ma.
Yes. Oh, he has a great story. Yeah, he's a great story.
Famously applied to Harvard like 5 or 6 times. He got rejected every single time. He never went there.
Yeah.
Right?
Did he even go to college? Did Jack Ma even go to college?
I think he did go somewhere. I don't know where. Like,
okay.
But I tell people all the time, I'm like, listen, if you told me that I could get rejected by Harvard 6 times and go and be Jack fucking Ma,
yeah.
How quick can I hit submit on those?
Yeah, I'm done. I'm here for it. Yeah, I would love to submit 6 times. He's one of the richest men in the world. I don't. If the kids don't know, he's stupid rich. You know. Yeah.
If you told me that I could, I went to Williams College, right?
Yeah.
When people hear that, they're like, "Wow, that's so amazing."
It's better than Hangzhou. Look at this. It's called the Hangzhou Normal University.
There you go.
He went to a normal university. He was a teacher.
Yeah, he was a teacher, big education guy.
Yeah, big education guy. Now he's one of the richest men in the world. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, if you told me that I could have gone to Auburn and gotten that D1 football experience and partied my ass off and then become the CEO of Apple, guess what?
Yeah. I'm here. I'm there.
Playing Alabama.
I'm here.
Right?
Yeah. I to me, Alabama is always like that. Just drive through it. Like, don't stop. But like, I would stop for that. I mean, I'd love to be Tim Cook.
I would stop for that. Right. So I think that like, for me, find the things you love and do those things, but also realize that, like, look, there are certain standards in certain fields, and you've got to hit those standards. And if your goal is that you're dying to go to Harvard, well, you got to do certain things to get to Harvard.
Yeah.
But like, to me, it's like, stop giving Harvard all this credit.
Yeah.
Like, it's not as good as you think it is.
No. And I guarantee, like, the kids going there are also not the type of kids you really want to be friends with, you know?
And like, I went to Williams College. I'm telling you from experience.
Yeah, you went to the #1 liberal arts college in the U.S., according to that magazine.
I don't think that these schools are not that impressive. I know they're not that impressive.
Yeah, you've been there. Yeah.
So the way to not stress out is like, look, try your hardest. Always try your hardest.
Yeah.
Be willing to fail. And go to the school where you're going to thrive. And if that's a tippy-top admissions rate school, fine. And if it's Santa Monica College into USC and UCLA like all the Persians do, amazing. I love that move.
Yeah, no, that's a great growth hack. I have some students who actually are doing that right now. Like they're doing a year or two at SMC, and then there's a fast track from SMC to like UCLA to USC. They get priority, I think. There's an agreement.
There's a name. I'm blanking on the name, but they actually have an agreement.
Yeah. It's like you take these certain schools, you get this certain GPA, you are all but guaranteed admission to either UCLA or USC.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's a great thing. Yeah. Nice. Let me see.
By the way, the last part of that question is college or university worth attending. I answered before. The answer is, for most people, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
But if you want to help yourself out, start early so that you can get things like merit aid and scholarships, or do that SMC move so that you can bring down the crippling cost so that you're not paying off debt the rest of your life and you're actually thriving and making money and doing the things that get most people into that middle and upper middle class.
Yeah. It is. You're right. It's such a ticket. You see the money charts, right? It's like it's the biggest needle mover. It's just like, did you go to college? Great. Yep. Instantly $30,000 more.
Yep.
Nice. I think this was kind of a similar question. We had this. If things are similar, we can.
Yeah, that was about the same thing. I mean, look, it's tough. It's not easy.
Oh, someone. I think someone went and researched your company, because I did make a bio about you, and like I do want you later at some point to talk about AKALA and stuff. But they're saying,
How do you see the future of college admissions changing over the next 5 to 10 years in terms of access and equity? The answer is I sadly don't see it changing. I think it's just bullshit, and But again, I do think, again, like if we stop giving Williams College this fancy title of number one, like that's going to be that's what should change is people should say, I don't care about the title. I care where I'm going to thrive. That's how you change access and equity, because there are billionaires who have graduated from so many schools. And it's like
Williams College probably loves that statistic because I don't know what the numbers are, but they probably because every admission, right, costs money. If you want to apply, like I see students where they're like, oh, I'm going to apply to 20 colleges. I'm like, bro, that's like $1,000 in at least, probably 2,000, 3,000. In just like application fees. And this must be a huge moneymaker for colleges. So they probably love it. They're like, yeah. And like you said, it boosts their acceptance rate numbers because it looks like it's more exclusive.
100%. So
it's all the for-profit stuff. Fuck this shit up, dude. Yeah.
Exactly. And look, I will tell you guys, a lot of people will say things like, well, you go to Williams for the network.
In like USC, right? There's a big like Trojan network in Los Angeles, right? It's like, did you go to USC? Cool, I'll help you out.
Right. But you know what is required in order to be a beneficiary of the network?
Oh, donations.
No.
Alumni stuff. You gotta be a donating alumni or something.
No. I'm talking like you're already there. You're at USC.
Yeah.
Okay. What is required to be a beneficiary of that network?
Ooh. You probably have to be doing well in the college, I guess, right? Yeah, you have to have like No?
You know what you have to do?
What do you have to do?
You have to pick up the fucking phone.
Ow! Start dialing. Pick up the phone. Start dialing.
Because most people, I will tell you, I went to my, I won't even admit how many years, but I went to my college reunion, okay?
Okay.
And I asked 100 people there a one-question survey.
Yeah.
How many times have you logged into the alumni database since we graduated? What do you think? What do you think the typical answer was?
Bro, I forgot. I don't even think we have an alumni database, but we probably do.
We do.
I would say like 2%, 1 or 2%. Yeah. 0. Wow. Not even using it. Not even using the alumni.
No one uses it. And so I sat there and I said to myself, so what is this fucking network? Right now, I will tell you, I consider myself a master networker.
Yeah.
Right? Like I am in the top 1% of networkers. And so for me, I have been on that alumni database 1,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But when people say, oh, you go for the network, it's bullshit. Here's the reality. There are billionaires and mega millionaires who have graduated from almost every college in America.
Yeah.
I'll give you a great example. I have a guy who was looking at investing in us who, awesome guy, went to Stetson University in Florida, which I had never heard.
I have no clue. I've never heard of Stetson University. What?
Right? This guy has sold not 1, not 2, but 6 fucking companies.
Oh my God. He's exited from 6 companies, dude? Holy shit.
Exited 6 companies. There is not a better business school education than you can get than that guy.
Building and selling 6 companies, that's insane.
And guess what? Guess where he teaches?
Does he teach at Stetson University?
Stetson University.
Wow. So that wealth of knowledge is in some obscure, probably not even on the fucking whatever this U.S. news thing
they're
is.
Definitely
right?
not ranked. They probably get some regional ranking or something.
Yeah, you're right. They do get a regional ranking. They're number 7 in regional universities south.
Right.
Yeah, like 5 reviews. Yeah, wow. Okay.
So, but I tell people that all the time. Look, one of my favorite examples is I had a professor at Williams. This guy, Professor Fortunato, Michael Fortunato, who is one of the foremost experts on decision theory, which is like the next step up from game theory.
Oh, okay. Decision theory. Okay, I like that. That's cool.
Really cool stuff. For you kids out there, go watch A Beautiful Mind. It's all about
dude, when he's at the bar with the dating, and he's like, which I don't think happens anymore because I don't think people approach people at bars anymore. Sadly.
Anyway, Michael Fortunato taught at Williams College one class, one night a week. The other 5 days, he was at Union College in New York.
Uh-huh.
Pull up Union College's ranking.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's find it. We're gonna go find it. Union College. Not the Kentucky one. New York.
Yeah.
Number 40. It's in
In
Schenectady.
Yeah. So number 40.
In National Liberal Arts colleges, yeah.
Right. Okay. So here's a school that most people probably have never heard of.
I've never heard of this one.
Right. And the foremost expert on the planet in decision theory is teaching there 5 days a week.
Wow.
My
Yeah.
school has a fucking number 1 in front of it. And we get them for one class, one night a week.
Wow.
So my point is like there's so many people who are gazillionaires, billionaires, whatever.
Wealth of knowledge, like great people that you'd want to learn from. Yeah.
They're the very top of their field, exactly, that you want to learn from them. And they're teaching at the local community college or Stetson or Union or one of these schools.
Yeah.
It's like, my point is that I mentioned that one thing you should learn is how to hustle.
Yeah.
The other thing you should learn is how to network.
Yeah, that's important. Yeah.
Related. But
Get
like,
to the gab.
yeah, like guys, like, and in fact, I should give everyone, do people, do you think like people on the stream have LinkedIn?
They're kids. I don't think a lot of kids have LinkedIn's.
Well, okay, I built a cool tool for LinkedIn, but I will tell you this.
Yeah. Well, tell me what the tool is, because I'm on LinkedIn and I'm always looking for things.
Yeah,
on LinkedIn.
so I built a tool that I call Flower Power, and
Flower Power. Can we find it online?
Go to I think it's flowernotes.app.
Okay.
There you go. So
you can add notes about. Oh, dude, this is so useful because we met, or I met your brother or something at one of these fucking events where like we're randomly just handing out LinkedIn QR codes, but I don't fucking remember anyone that I meet.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
so what I built was a tool that as you're LinkedIning everybody, right? Because for you kids out there, here's what's coming and why when you do get a LinkedIn, if you could take notes, right? And right now you could download it for free as a part of our beta.
That's awesome. Cool.
But I will tell you what happens is I'm the best example. I worked for a little bit in finance. Then I went to Hollywood. Then I had a startup in the bar and nightlife space. And now I have AKALA in the education space.
Yeah, no, it's cool. You have quite the path, quite the journey.
That's 4 industries.
Yeah.
That means times 4, I went to meetings, conferences, dinners, like random run-ins, parties,
pop-ups, whatever these,
And then what happens is that now I get to, just so you guys know, this is overload of information, but when you get on LinkedIn, and let's say I search for Geo, right? Yeah. The greatest thing you could see on LinkedIn when you're searching for someone is a little number 2 next to their name.
Oh yeah, the second connection. Like we know someone in common.
Exactly. I know somebody who knows Geo.
Mutuals. We have mutuals. Yeah.
But I cannot tell you how many times I've gone to Geo's page, right? The figurative Geo, right? I've gone to Geo's page. I see the number 2. I have, say, 9 mutual connections. I'm so excited. I click on it. I don't know who the fuck any one of those 9 people is.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know why I know them. I don't know how I know them. And now I'm wasting time trying to scroll through their profiles.
Meanwhile, they're getting all the pings of like, Perry's looking at your profile. Perry's looking at your profile. Yeah. I'm just like, damn it.
But how much better would it be if I called that person and was like, Johnny, how are the 2 kids? Like, did you
Personal.
ever make it? I remember you were trying to go to the Super Bowl. Did you make it? Like, even if Johnny has no fucking clue who I am, if I hit Johnny with all those personal notes about Johnny,
he's gonna be like, oh, I know this person. I trust this person more.
I should probably respond to this guy.
Yeah.
Right? That's networking 101.
Yeah.
Right?
Build like some connections that are outside of just what your industry is, right? Like on a human to human level.
Yeah. You know, and to the end of this last question, right? Like, while ensuring the process remains personal and human centered. Like, guys, like, interviews are still a big thing at some schools. Some schools allow you to submit videos of yourself. Like,
oh wow,
these kinds of the ability to connect with humans is a massively important skill, and it matters in admissions and it matters in life.
This is why, like, so we had another we had another semi-professional soccer player who went to a college in New York or something, and he says, like, the number one thing is that kids should go work at McDonald's in high school. Like, go get some sort of, like, service industry job. Go, because you need to deal with people. You'll learn a lot.
I tell this to every kid because I love that my LA example here, because I had this girl who worked at like this like Beverly Hills bridal shop.
Okay. It's gotta be
sell
interesting.
Bridal gowns for like $40,000.
Ew.
And so
oh my God, no.
she gets like 2 fucking appointments a day.
Yeah, but that's all she needs. Like, because if half of those, if a % of that converts, yeah, great.
Yeah, you're crushing it, right? So this student was working there, you know, as an employee.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, listen, like, that's not a real job. Like, it kind of is, but like, when your job is like, I met 2 people today, and I like, you're not folding clothes, you're not doing whatever.
You're actually not doing any work. You're not doing any hard work.
One of the greatest things you can learn to gain that hustle gene is to go get a shitty fucking job.
Shitty fucking service job.
I love that advice. So I am the best example of that.
Yeah.
I worked a summer in high school doing golf course maintenance.
Okay.
Now, this is in New Jersey where it's 100 degrees and 100% humidity, mosquitoes, fucking dog shit, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Not fun.
And they would give me the worst tasks on the course. Like, I had to weed whack this fucking creek with giant rubber things on. Fucking snakes are biting at my rubber.
And you might be getting hit by balls too. Like, while you're out there, you're like,
balls are flying. I mean, you name it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I tell people I learned a few very, very incredible life lessons.
Yeah.
Number one,
what were
I learned about work ethic.
Yeah.
Right? Because at the end of the day, there's no excuse for the course not looking beautiful.
Right.
So you better work your tail off to make sure the course is looking beautiful, or guess what? You're going to be fired.
Yeah, because you're responsible for it. Like, and this is your work.
Work ethic is a huge deal. Number 2, I learned something I never want to do again in my life.
You get the hustle mentality after that, because you're like, I want to make sure I get an education so I don't fucking ever have to do this, like, for my life.
I'm telling you right now, I can't drive by a golf course, let alone be on one, without having heart palpitations.
Yeah, there's like the PTSD.
Don't ever fucking send me back there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the last thing I think is the most important lesson you can learn, which is to appreciate the people who do that full time.
Yeah. You have like a respect for it. You're like, wow.
It was a summer job. I made a few $1,000 that, you know, helped me go out and have fun with my friends.
Yeah.
But there are people who are like providing for their kids.
Yeah, full time. Like that's how they put food on the table.
And so, you know, my wife always gives me shit, but I will because like I'm slowing down the process of getting from A to B. But like I always talk to the cleaning person, the landscaper, whatever. Because first of all, I want them to know I appreciate the job they're doing.
Yeah, and you see them and they're recognized. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know how shitty that job is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know that most people walk by the beautifully manicured bush and don't even think about it.
No, yeah, they're just like, oh, the bush looks nice, but they don't think about the hundreds of hours that some dude had to like sweat out like to make that.
Yeah, so I love that guy's advice. Go get the shittiest job you can get.
Go do it. Yeah.
I love that.
That's a good one. All right, let's see. We got a couple more quick ones. Let's see. This one was submitted late, so I don't have it on the thing, but I can pull it up here. Yeah. Recky Rex says, what would you suggest for an introverted high school student to connect with college university life when they are shy and it's new for the person to transition from high school to the college phase? And what challenges can they face? What's your opinion for that type of student? Do you think joining clubs and showing up for meetings for those clubs is a good idea who enter the college when they're freshmen? Yeah, basically talking about introverted students.
Yeah,
how they adjust to that.
Listen, here's the reality. Introverted kids probably shouldn't go to Arizona State University.
Is that because it's a very big party school, ASU?
Right. Hold on one second. Let me just still. It's a huge party school. It's loud. It's boisterous. Like,
Yeah, there's a big frat culture. There's a big football culture. Like, I know Arizona State University. It's one of the premier like state schools you can like party at.
Yeah.
It's not a quiet college. Not very
not
quiet.
a quiet college. There are so many incredible schools out there where, like the liberal arts schools that are smaller, they're more intimate. Your teacher knows your name. Like you don't have to be crazy social to enjoy yourself. One of the things you talk about AI, one of the things that we're doing with it is actually to be able to match kids based on their personality to the personalities of schools.
That's good. Yeah, no. That yeah,
You know?
that's a good idea.
For the introverted kid, look, there's all kinds of things that you can do on your own that in a place where you're comfortable. Like one of my favorite examples was I had a kid who super introverted, who went and worked at a what do you call it, like a food shelter.
Okay.
Right? Not in the front of house having to talk to the homeless.
Yeah, talking to homeless and stuff. Yeah.
He just sat in back and was packing food and stuff.
Okay. He understood his role. He's like, I want to do this.
He was comfortable. He was happy.
Yeah.
But he was achieving his community service hours without putting himself in a position that he was unhappy.
Yeah.
Right. So to that introverted kid, I say, look, there's so much you can do that's not going to get the public press that the president of this club might get, but But Harvard and Stanford and all these schools love those kids too.
Yeah.
So that's what I say. It's like, and my biggest thing is just like, find the school where the introvert can thrive.
Yeah, exactly. Probably go to a smaller liberal arts college, that's off in the upstate New York or something, not in a big city. I wanted to always be in a city because I'm a very extroverted person. I love people, and I was like, I need to be in a city. So that's why Austin. And then when I got accepted to UCLA, I was like, great, Los Angeles, best. I'm here 100%. For it.
Yeah.
Okay. One was here. He says, as an Indian who has just completed my master's in math, do you think it's a good idea to take a year off to learn stuff and then apply to a strong place? I'm in one of the best PhD programs in India now, but no one here does what I wanted to do. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So this, I guess, is like I wonder if he's like trying to come into the U.S. to get an undergraduate degree or like.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's already got his master's, which is like.
Do they recognize masters from India? Is it one of these things? Like, for instance, if you go to med school in like Iraq,
right,
and you come to the U.S., you can't be a fucking doctor. They don't give a shit. No. They're just like, you got to go back to medical school here. I don't know.
In math, they probably would. The answer is going to be like, it depends on the industry.
Right.
But my recommendation, look, here, this is a story for another time, but I'm writing a book called The Golden Window.
Well, I already love the name of this, Perry. What? It's called The Golden Window? Big fan. Big fan already. I'm already going to buy your book.
And the idea behind it is that, you are allotted roughly 60 years of adulthood. Right? So in good health, you'll graduate college around 22. You'll live to around 82, right? That's the average lifespan in the U.S. So my argument is, look, the back 45 years, the back 3 quarters looks almost identical.
Yeah.
What do you like? You like nicer things, nicer cars, nicer houses, nicer travel, like
nicer vacations.
What do you talk about with your friends? You talk about parenting and real estate and right?
This sounds boring as fuck, dude. I want to do this.
By the way, that's amazing. And the line I say in the book, and if that sounds really fucking boring, guess what? That's because it is.
Yeah.
Right? But between the ages of 22 and 37, so the first quarter of those 6 years, there's shit that you can do that you'll never be able to do again in your life.
Oh, yeah.
I think part of the problem with America is that everyone wants to subscribe to the script. To bring it back to what we were talking about earlier. They are afraid to fucking fail. So
afraid to fail. Yep.
At 22, I will graduate college. At 25, I will graduate graduate school. At 28, I'll get married. At 30,
it's
I'll
a rail. It's a train. They're just like, get on the rail, hit go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what ends up happening is that a lot of people, and I know because these are my friends, right?
Yeah.
They start looking back with an insane amount of regret.
Right.
Because
being like, I should have gone to Ibiza, I should have traveled, I should have gone to that concert. Like, what the fuck? What was I doing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so what I tell every high school kid is like, look, you only get one shot at this window.
Sure. Yeah, college is a super unique time, and you only get it once.
But I'm
so
talking
rare.
about the 22 to 37.
Oh, sure, yeah, just the whole thing in general. Yeah,
also.
Yeah, college. Yeah. I say it's this weird part of your life where like you have freedom, but you have no responsibilities. Like you don't have to really. Yeah, it's very unique. It is.
But I.
But so they have this limited period, right, in their 20s. You were talking about, yeah.
And once it's gone, it is fucking gone forever.
You can't get it back.
And the example I give for kids is like, look, let's say a 23-year-old and myself were to travel to Europe tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I think about this a lot.
That kid could go stay at a youth hostel.
You could too, but you'd get some eyes.
Yeah, exactly, right? So
you'd get some eyes.
The answer is I actually couldn't, right? Now I could. I'm legally allowed to.
Yeah, sure, but you can't.
But by all social laws,
you're a weirdo at that point.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, you go to jail. Yeah.
Right? And I tell people, I'm like, do you know why I can't go? Because it's fucking creepy. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
You can't have a guy in his 40s rolling around with like 19, 20-year-old girls around us.
Unless it's like Thailand, then like somehow it's strangely okay. I remember seeing a lot of that when I was in Thailand. I'm like, this dude's like 50 and like just
But you had the thought in your head. You're like,
no, I did. No, I did. I was like, it's kind of weird, man.
Exactly. So, there's just so much shit you can do. So to answer that guy's question, it's like, yes, you should take a year and come to America or wherever you want to be in the world and like, and network with people and do something different. Go get a job at McDonald's. Like, it doesn't matter what you do because like, don't be in such a rush to get to. Yeah,
my parents used to be like, don't be in such a rush to grow up because you'll regret it. Like, enjoy the times now, man.
You have your whole fucking life to go work and make a lot of money and do all those things. But you only get this window to do things that are socially acceptable now.
Right. And my body can recover. Like, I think about this when I went to Europe in my early 20s, and it was because of the recommendation of someone older who was like, hey, number one piece of advice, go fucking travel now. Like, don't wait until your 30s and 40s because all your friends are going to have kids. No one can get time off. And also, the hangovers last 4 days. Like, you're not going to be able to bounce back in 8 hours. It won't happen.
And I also tell kids, like, if you get a chance in college, you must study abroad.
Yes. No, that's great. Yeah. Go somewhere else.
Number one regret that kids have is that they didn't study abroad.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. New cultures. It's a huge thing.
Well, and to bring it back to important life skills, when you study, I always caveat, I say, go study abroad, but study somewhere where they don't speak English. And that includes, don't study in Paris or Madrid or whatever, places where they actually do speak English.
Where they have English speakers, exactly, yeah.
Study at the Università Per Stranieri, which is actually where I studied.
You did? Oh, that's cool for the foreigners, yeah.
In Perugia, where I just sent a kid.
Oh, that's cool.
And no one speaks English there.
So you have to learn the language. Yeah, it becomes you're immersed in it. I think they call it immersion, right?
Yes, but as I point out, the language is not the reason to do it. That's the cherry on top. That's the like, fuck yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But the real reason to do it is that when you have to walk into the butcher shop. Now, these days you can use your phone. It's a lot easier.
Yeah, you can DoorDash everything these days. Yeah.
Back in the day, we used to have the little mini pocket.
The Rolodex. Pocket dictionaries. Oh, you're talking about the language. Yeah. No, totally, yeah.
So I would be sitting there in a butcher shop, no joke, and I'd be like, I want steak, and the guy'd be like, ugh, and I'd be like,
Io voglio comprare la bistecca.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but what I tell people is when you have to battle through those cultural and language barriers, right? You're going to learn a skill that will last you the rest of your life, which is you will learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Oh, I love that. Like being and that's a skill that translates to so much later down in life with work too. You'll be in situations where it'll feel like it's a foreign language, but you're like, it's cool. Yeah, I can figure this out.
I can handle this. Like, and I would tell you one of my favorite stories was I was in China If anyone's ever been there,
That's a rough
there
place,
is
China. Honestly, I've been. Yeah.
zero English spoken.
Zero
in
English. Yeah, they say no,
But,
no, unless it's Hong Kong. But like, that's not really China.
that's not, yeah, exactly. But I was in Shanghai, famous for its dumplings, and there was this dumpling place that was literally the last stop on a subway line, which was like way out in the boondocks, right? I go, I find the place, I eat the dumplings. They were phenomenal. I come back, and China, like everything moves at 1,000 miles an hour, like construction, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, in the time that I ate those dumplings, they shut down the entire subway, and like had a construction thing up. And I was like, "Oh my god!"
You're like, "Fuck,
So
I'm stranded."
I
You didn't have Uber. You didn't have Uber back then. You weren't like, "I'm just gonna get an Uber."
So I waved down a taxi, and I'm like, "Marriott." But what's crazy about Chinese is Marriott's not Marriott in Chinese.
Oh no.
There's another word for it.
Oh
which
man.
I didn't know. So I had to get out of the fucking taxi because there was no way to communicate with them.
Yeah.
So then I found a store, and after like a fucking horribly uncomfortable experience trying to convince her that I just wanted a piece of paper and a pencil to draw something on, she gave it to me. Like, I drew the river. I drew this one famous building on the skyline. I then by the way, this is like an hour and a half later. I waved down another taxi. I show him the map.
Yeah.
Ha 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 ha, which means like, yeah, I got it. And he drives me there, and then I walked 45 minutes to my fucking hotel.
But you at least got to a landmark where you're like, I know I'm walking distance from here.
Exactly. But I will tell you, the entire time, as frustrating as it was, I had already had the built-in capacity to handle it.
You're like, I can handle this. I don't need to like call the police. Like, I will figure this out. Exactly. I love that. Yeah.
And so that's, to me, that's why you should study abroad.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, good life skills.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't want to take too much of your time. We got like a couple more or something. You tell me when you got to go. You probably got you just had the birth of your second child.
I do got to go. Let's do a couple more.
Yeah. Do colleges take much consideration on what college classes you take in high school? So in this case, they're saying I took Calc 3. I was wondering if that's valued in the admissions process. I would say yes, right? Especially if it's a dual credit class.
Yeah. Dual credit, dual degree stuff. Like, yes, if you can go get like the local community college or nowadays, like we talked about earlier with like MIT open courseware and whatnot, like if you could go take a bunch of those, colleges really value that a lot. So
yeah, I think they see it as like you can already take college level courses, so you should be great. Yeah. 100%. All right. And then let's run this. This will be the last one. Equity says, do you have any tips for students hoping to play sports at the collegiate level?
Yes.
What lessons from soccer do you think high school students can apply their own journeys, whether that's academic, blah, blah, blah? And then what's your favorite soccer player and team, Ronaldo or Messi? Is the last question.
Listen to me. The answer is Messi. No one better fucking say Ronaldo. But
fuck Ronaldo, right?
I will say this. I love Ronaldo. He is the second best player of all time.
Okay.
And I will tell you.
He's kind of a scumbag where he takes money, though, right? Like he gets paid by like the Saudis and stuff to just play.
Exactly. But I'll tell you this, okay? Just like, would you stop in Alabama if you knew you'd become the CEO of Apple? Like,
yeah.
I would love to have the problem of being the second best player of all time.
Yeah, it's a great problem to have.
By the way, my father used to say that anytime there was a situation like that, he'd go, Perry, I hope for this problem for you, right?
Yeah,
so like,
yeah.
It's 100% Messi is the short answer.
Yeah.
In terms of team, I've grown to the place with football where like I just like to see great football. So like my favorite player today is Holland, Erling Haaland on Manchester City.
Okay, Man City, yeah.
Man amongst boys, and is just awesome.
Wow, that's great.
Anyway, all right, so back to the
tips for students hoping to play sports at the college level, I guess. I think that's kind of the main thing, yeah.
If you're a D1 athlete, they're going to find you. Come hell or high water.
You'll get recruited. There'll be scouters. There'll be whatever days. Yep. Yeah.
But if you're not, and there are so many amazing schools like Williams College that are D3, D2, that may not have the budget to get to wherever you are in California or New Jersey or Texas, whatever. You can be proactive in your own recruitment. Okay, these days, this fucking tiny thing will get incredible footage of
You make a highlight reel of yourself, right? You're just like, look at me like scoring all these amazing goals.
Exactly. Make the highlight reel of yourself and start to communicate with coaches early. If you're a freshman, a sophomore, a junior, get in touch with coaches. Every school has its own form that you fill out. Get that reel in the hands of coaches. Be persistent. Coaches like persistent people.
Yeah. Perseverance, just like keep hitting them up.
When I was at Williams, my average national ranking for D3 soccer was out of 48 weeks. We spent 47 of those weeks across 4 years as the number one team in the country.
Oh, wow.
Okay? Now, look at how many rings I got. But,
uh-oh. You got the important one. You got the marriage one, though, at least.
Marriage ring.
Yeah, that's the important
but I will tell you that we were the best D3 team in the country. We were beating D1 teams all the time. There was a kid on our team who sent a VHS cassette. Okay,
no way.
The 90s, to our coach he was from like, I want to say like Missouri or something, or Illinois, I forget, somewhere in the middle, and got himself recruited. And nowadays it's infinitely easier to do that. So my advice to you is get that reel and send it out to everyone who you'd be willing to go play for.
Yeah.
And my last bit of advice is, like, if you are good enough to play somewhere, you should find a way to play. Like, because I will tell you, the second that competitive soccer or competitive sports ends for you, which is for most people after
25,
high school, and for a smidgen of us after college, and for an even bigger smidgen, they go pro. But like, when that ends, man, it fucking sucks.
Oh no, yeah. You're like, I love this thing. You almost feel like it was a part of your identity, and you're like, but
it was, yeah. I mean, I've been doing it since I was 5 years old.
Yeah, wow.
All the hills I ran, all the light pole sprints I did, and then suddenly it's gone.
Yeah, you're like, oh, don't do it anymore. I guess you can always play intramural afterwards, but as my buddy, he was on the podcast here earlier, he now gets too many injuries. He's like, my back, my legs. He's like, I'm too old. I can't do this anymore.
I will end with this last story. I was asked to become a ringer on this team, and so I was like probably 28, 29. And it was my girlfriend at the time, right? So she's like, can you come be a ringer? I was like, sure. So I get out there. I haven't touched a ball in a couple years. I'm pinging it. I'm feeling good again. I'm like, wow, this is great. I'm in the middle of the field by myself. The ball is like over on the sidelines, okay? And there's a guy maybe like 5 yards ahead of me. I'm like, I should probably run back and mark that guy, right?
Yeah.
So and this is what I was saying. I didn't go from I was jogging, okay?
Yeah.
And I didn't go from a jog to a sprint or a jog to even a run. I went from a jog to a fast jog. Okay. That was the level of increased energy I put towards it.
Sure.
And I went up with a hamstring.
No, dude.
It was so bad that literally the guy who I was trying to get to mark, a bunch of my teammates got up in his face and was like, what the fuck? Did you try?
Like, what'd you do? Did you hurt our guy?
I was like on the ground going, no. He actually didn't do anything.
He did anything. I just did it to myself.
I'm just old, right?
I'm just old.
Anyways,
okay, that's great. Okay, cool. I'm not gonna take. Anyway, I thank you so much, Perry. By the way, for coming by for this.
Absolutely.
This was super useful, super helpful. You're a wealth of knowledge. I appreciate you taking the time to again answer all the kids' questions. One real quick. We have you select which question you liked the best. Okay,
hold on.
So
hold on.
These were, if there's any one of them that like stood out to you, just let me know.
Wait, slow.
Yeah, you're good.
There was one I really liked.
Do you remember what it was kind of about? I can kind of remember what the last.
I don't remember. I remember I was like, "Oh, that's a really good question." About the low income.
Oh, okay. I think that was Laz. I think that was the biggest barrier for low income minority students.
I love that question because I think let's go with that one. Good job, Laz.
Good job, Laz. Awesome. Okay. And if people want to find you or talk to you later, I guess I'll send them to your TikTok, right?
Yeah, our TikTok's the College Guru. And then, go akala.com.
Yes, yeah.
You know,
we should have you come on again sometime when when again you're not dealing with the newborn child and your kid has RSV,
Yeah.
but I'd love to have you just like give a spiel and just talk about this to students so that they can know more about what you do. We didn't really go over like what this whole thing is, but
yeah,
I think it'd be cool.
The quick version for everybody is like, listen, for a very affordable monthly fee, and we'll give a discount for anyone who comes from the stream or the pod. But for a very affordable monthly fee, you can get this kind of guidance, which is starting as early as 7th grade. That's going to make sure you're doing all of the things you need to do to be the best applicant that you can be for whatever your hopes and dreams are. So
nice. Is this something that like they check in with and it gives like assignments or?
Yeah, and most importantly, you get a monthly meeting with your counselor, so you get to have that.
So you get that counselor meeting.
Yeah,
oh wow,
that's our whole thing.
Holy shit! And this is something that usually I don't know, dude. Some people charge like $500,000 a fucking visit for it.
Yeah, I mean, dude, our rate in 2016, and the numbers have gone crazy from there. Is like $30,000 to get your kid into college, and so
holy fuck,
we created AKALA to fight against that. And
I love that. Okay, no, this is very cool. I will definitely talk to my students about this, and that's super generous of you to offer a discount code because I think some of the kids will see this and be like, yeah, it would be great for me to just have a way to talk to somebody about this process. Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay, awesome.
Ooh.
All right, well, again, thank you so much for coming out to the stream here. We got to grab a beer or something once life calms down a little bit for you.
Would love that.
Yeah, we'll do it. We're neighbors,
Exactly.
Nice. Okay. So again, thanks everyone for coming by to the stream. Give a big thank you to Perry here. This is the last stream of 2024, so we're not going to stream again until 2025. Join our Discord if you want to know more about that and the schedules and stuff. W stream for the end of the year. Yes. Awesome. Love that, guys. Okay, cool. All right. We're going to go raid another streamer just to do with the, if you're still here on Twitch and you want to keep learning some stuff, go check them out. We're going to go check out science. And then for you, Perry, again, thank you so much for coming by. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Man. Great
get back to your Happy New Year's, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, all that fun stuff.
Yeah,
get back to your kid.
Get back to my 2-day-old.
All right, 2-day-old. Yeah, congrats on that too.
Scooters,
Thanks, man.
All right, good to see you.
Distributional record. To education. Hi, Metatoni. Welcome on in. Actual education. Welcome the heck on in. Readers!
Science stream, but we ain't bugging. We over here about to leave. You be chugging what we got. Now the tribes arrived. I promise that I have prescribed you vibes. The vibes we got are giant. Shout out to the stream for the raid. That's science.
Readers! Welcome the heck on in. Actual